Chapter 1861 Find the Mountain of Devouring. After Yi Tian entered the 7th Realm River, he immediately went to see an eternal controller, the Yan controller. This is a named disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor. He is also quite famous in the 7th Realm River, and he is also the master of the 7th domain. He knew the residence of the controller, so he came directly. Yan Holy Mountain. Yi Tian came here and went directly to the top of the Yan Holy Mountain. The subordinates of the Yan controller tried to stop Yi Tian, but were reprimanded by the Yan controller and retreated. At this time, the moment the Yan controller saw Yi Tian, he recognized it. "I've seen my brother," the Yan controller respectfully said. "Junior brother Yan is very polite, I am here to ask you for help this time." Yi Tian said. "Senior brother, please tell me, if I can help, I will definitely help." The Yan controller hurriedly assured. Does he know who this person is in front of him? The 6th direct disciple that Shi Xingzu recently accepted. He has unlimited potential in the future, and even has the hope of becoming the master of the 10 realms. As long as it doesn't fall, the future will inevitably reach the peak of the Source Realm Sea. If you can help this senior brother when he is still weak, then you will have a relationship. If you ask him for help in the future, you will naturally be able to talk. Therefore, he is happy to help Yi Tian. Yi Tian said directly. "I want to find the Mountain of Devouring, but I am not familiar with the 7th Realm River, and there are no other familiar controllers here, so I can only come to get rid of junior brother." The Mountain of Devouring. Senior brother is looking for it. Although Yan's controller was curious about why Yi Tian was looking for the Mountain of Devouring, he did not ask too much. "Senior brother, the Mountain of Devouring appeared once in a long time, but no one dared to provoke it, so it disappeared soon. I can send my people to look for it, but how long it will take to find it, I can't guarantee it." Yan controller said. "Then please, my junior brother, I will be in the 7th Realm River during this period of time. If my junior brother has news, please let me know," Yi Tian said. The Yan controller naturally agreed, and then the two exchanged contact information. After that, Yi Tian left here. Naturally, the Yan controller would not agree to do nothing, and he immediately summoned the half-step eternal controllers and many peak legend lords under his command. Immediately, a large number of powerhouses gathered in the Yan Holy Mountain. "Meet the Mountain Master," these people respectfully said. "This is the information on the Swallowing Mountain, each of you will find out about it, and then find it at all costs. If anyone finds the Swallowing Mountain, I will reward you," the Yan controller ordered. "Yes, Mountain Master," the crowd responded. Immediately, these peak legend lords and half-step eternal controllers went to investigate. In the following days, Yi Tian wandered in the 7th Realm River, while learning about the 7th Realm River, while inquiring about the whereabouts of the Swallowing Mountain. Although he asked for the help of Yan's controller, it was impossible to rely entirely on Yan's controller, and he himself had to find the Mountain of Devouring. In addition, he also discovered that the 7th Realm River also has the Jihei Chamber of Commerce. In the past, he thought that the Jihei Chamber of Commerce was only in the 13th Jihei, but now he naturally doesn't think so. In fact, the headquarters of the Jihei Chamber of Commerce is in the source of the sea, and there are also the Jihei Chamber of Commerce in other Jihei, all belonging to the branch. Then, Yi Tian spent a lot of Jihei coins in the 7th Jihei injury and released the task of finding the Mountain of Devouring. As for whether anyone knows, it's hard to say. In the following years, Yi Tian's body continued to cultivate and improve the power of control. He is now regarded as the top 7-level controller, and he is only one step away from the 8-level controller, so there is hope for breaking the shackles. Moreover, his will has reached the middle stage of the 9th order, and there is almost no bottleneck before reaching the late 9th order, and he can gradually improve. If the will is improved, the strength is also improved. With time and painstaking cultivation, his strength will eventually break the shackles and be promoted to the combat power of the 8-domain level controller. Of course, what Yi Tian desires most is to be able to create an origin control technique. If you can create a source control technique, your strength will really advance by leaps and bounds. However, the origin control technique is too difficult to create, and it takes too much time. Yi Tian has mastered 3,000 paths, and he has no idea how much he has accumulated. He even has a secret technique such as the secret of enlightenment. At present, the most reliable way to improve is to devour special life. If he devours the Mountain of Devouring, his strength will definitely skyrocket, and he may hope to enter the combat power of the 9-domain level controller in a short period of time. Before I knew it, 30,000 years of the river had passed. In these years, the 7th Realm River was very lively, and many people were inquiring about the Mountain of Devouring. Originally, the later creatures did not know the existence of the Devouring Mountain. Now the news spreads all over the 7th Realm River, and it has also caused a trend of looking for the Devouring Mountain. Many people do not know the situation and think that the Devouring Mountain has a great opportunity. At this time, even if someone told him that the Swallowing Mountain was not an opportunity, they would not believe it, and only believed in what they thought. For Yi Tian, this is a good thing, because there are more practitioners looking for the Mountain of Devouring, and the hope of finding it is great. This day, somewhere in the 7th Realm River, a half-step eternal controller came here and saw a very strange mountain. The mountain was huge, and it felt like a special kind of creature to him. At this time, he thought of the recent uproar of the Mountain of Devouring in the 7th Realm River, and suddenly secretly guessed in his heart. Isn't this the Mountain of Devouring? Then, he bombarded the strange mountain with his attacks. Boom! An energy attack hit the mountain, but it did not cause any waves. Instead, the energy was swallowed up by the mountain. It really is a mountain of devouring energy, everyone is looking for it, and it will contain great opportunities. Immediately, Nuo Haojiao, he flew up the Mountain of Devouring, wanting to see if there was anything good on it. However, the Swallowing Mountain turned into a stone mouth, directly swallowing the half-step Eternal Controller. But fortunately, this half-step Eternal Controller came here only as a clone, not the main body. As a result, the clone has fallen, and his body naturally knows. Immediately, this half-step Eternal Controller knew that the Swallowing Mountain also has the strength comparable to the Eternal Controller, and naturally did not dare to come here, and sold the news directly, thus making a lot of money. The first time, Yi Tian also got the news from the Yan Yan Controller, so he rushed over. P.S. The pseudonym of this book has been changed, because the account of this book has signed a contract with Fei Lu, and the name of the account of the contract cannot be changed, so the pseudonym of this book is changed to be the same as the name of the contract. I am afraid that some readers will misunderstand, so I will inform you here. Chapter 1862 Start Devouring. At this time, many practitioners gathered here on the Swallowing Mountain, and they did not dare to approach or attack the Swallowing Mountain. Before, the practitioners who attacked the Swallowing Mountain were swallowed up by the Swallowing Mountain. There is a half-step Eternal Controller who only attacked once, and was targeted by the Swallowing Mountain, unable to escape. Of course, if you don't attack the Mountain of Devouring, it doesn't seem to be very dangerous. At this time, an Eternal Controller introduced. The Mountain of Devouring, when you see it again, don't kill it and attack it. Its current strength is comparable to that of an ordinary domain-level controller, but once you attack it, it will absorb energy to improve its strength, and even if the 9 domain-level controller attacks it, it will eventually be consumed by it. 1. Does the Mountain Controller, the Swallowing Mountain, really have a big chance? A half-step Eternal Controller asked. Big chance, the Peak Controller said with a smile. It's just a special life, similar to the Black Sea. What chance did you find in the Black Sea? Anyway, I've never seen anyone find any chance on the mountain that is swallowed up again. 1. After the Mountain Master said so, many half-step Eternal Masters lost interest. If there is a big chance, maybe they would dare to risk being killed to give it a try, but now it seems that there is no chance. A figure appeared, it was Yi Tian. He came here and looked at the Mountain of Swallowing 937. Sure enough, it is the Mountain of Devouring. Yi Tian said excitedly. The most important thing is that this Devouring Mountain has not absorbed too much energy yet, it is only the strength of a domain-level controller. If it is too strong, he will have to wait for a long time to let its energy consumption and its strength decrease before it becomes possible. Dare to devour it. Now, there is no need to worry. Immediately, Yi Tian was going to the Mountain of Devouring. At this time, the Peak Controller persuaded, Your Excellency, this Swallowing Mountain cannot be attacked, even if your strength is strong, it will not work. Those Peak Legend Lords or half-step Eternal Controllers were killed, and they were only clones. The Eternal Controller is a real body, if it is killed, it will really fall. Although its current strength is weak, it will pursue it and it will be very difficult to deal with. Thanks for the reminder, but I have a way. Yi Tian said. Seeing that Yi Tian didn't listen to the advice, he didn't say anything. After all, he doesn't know Yi Tian, so it's good to be able to remind him. When Yi Tian walked up to the Mountain of Devouring, the Peak Controller sighed. It's a pity, a 7-domain-level controller is about to fall. CJFI, what is the concept of a 7-domain-level controller? He may never be able to step into that level. Why would such a strong person want to die? The other practitioners were very curious, so they stayed here one by one and did not leave. They also want to know if a 7-domain level Eternal Master will be killed by the Swallowing Mountain. If a 7-domain level Eternal Controller died here, it would be really big news. The 7th Realm River, the Holy Mountain of Yanyan. The Yanyan Controller also received a message from his subordinates, knowing that Yi Tian had already gone to the Mountain of Devouring, and it seemed that he was going to attack the Mountain of Devouring. My senior brother is so courageous, he dares to provoke even the Mountain of Devouring. The Yanyan Controller sighed. He didn't dare to provoke, and he didn't want to fall. However, he did not feel that his senior brother was trying to die. Yi Tian is the direct disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor, so he naturally understands the horror of the Mountain of Devouring, and he definitely has a way to deal with it. Go and have a look, I don't know what this senior brother is going to do. Out of curiosity, the Yanyan Controller ripped apart time and space and headed to the Mountain of Devouring. Soon, he arrived here. I have seen the Yanyan Controller. The Mountain Controller respectfully said. The Yanyan Controller nodded slightly, but he did not pay any attention to the Peak Controller. Ordinary controllers are not qualified to talk to him directly, and his eyes are only fixed on Yi Tian, who is sitting on the Mountain of Swallowing. On the Mountain of Devouring. Yi Tian sat cross-legged, sensing the Mountain of Devouring. At this time, the Mountain of Devouring instinctively wanted to absorb Yi Tian's energy, but if Yi Tian didn't attack it, it would not be able to grow. How could it be possible to swallow Yi Tian with the strength of its domain-level controller? You want to devour me? Sorry, I want to devour you too. Yi Tian said lightly. Currently, he performed his own life-swallowing technique. I saw Yi Tian turned into a void and was devouring the Mountain of Devouring. The swallowing mountain was gradually swallowed by Yi Tian. It kept resisting, but under the life-swallowing technique, it couldn't resist at all. With the passage of time, its size became smaller and smaller, and it was actually swallowed by Yi Tian. At this time, the Mountain Controller and others were dumbfounded. This controller devours the Mountain of Devouring again. I only heard that the Mountain of Devouring devours others, and there are still people who can devour it. The Mountain Controller exclaimed. And Yanyan's controller was also extremely shocked. He still underestimated the ability of his senior brother. It was terrifying. What kind of secret technique is this, so it can be done to such an extent? Soon, a bit-level master came. Devouring a swallowing mountain, if it is really successful, it will definitely gain great benefits. Who is this eternal controller, and if he obtains his secret technique, can't we also swallow the swallowing mountain? These eternal masters are greedy. Suddenly, a 7-domain level eternal controller has taken action. If he wants to destroy Yi Tian's swallowing, he may be able to inflict heavy damage on Yi Tian, and then he will capture Yi Tian and ask for a secret technique. But the moment he made his move, he was blocked by Yanyan's controller. Mahai, what do you want to do? The Yanyan controller asked. What? Isn't this eternal controller the controller of our 7th Realm River? He shot at him. Yanyan controller, do you want to stop me? Mahai controller asked. The master of Mahai is not afraid of the master of Yanyan. He also has a background. His master is an 8-level controller of the Source Realm Sea, so he has no scruples. He is my senior brother. Why do you say I should stop you? Yanyan controller said. Brother. Mahai's controller was a little afraid. If it was the official disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor, it would not be offended. Of course, if it's just a named disciple, it doesn't matter. At this moment, Yanyan's controller said, Mohai, you must think clearly, even your master can't offend my senior brother. When the Mahai controller heard this, his expression changed. Could it be that this is the direct disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor? I'll give you this face. The Mahai controller is gone. Chapter 1863. The strength has skyrocketed, the peak of the 8 domains. Many controllers know that Yi Tian's identity is not simple, and naturally they dare not offend Yi Tian. In fact, Yi Tian is really not afraid of someone attacking him. The big deal, he directly interrupted the refining and guided the attack to fall on the swallowing mountain. In that case, the Eternal Master would be pursued by the swallowing mountain and slowly be swallowed up. And after him, he can continue to refine and devour this swallowing mountain. It's just that the Mahai controller just now was completely attracted by the so-called secret technique, and his greed arose, otherwise the slightly more rational Eternal controller would not dare to take action. Time goes by. After a long time, Yi Tian finally swallowed this swallowing mountain completely. Of course, this is only a preliminary swallow, and it will take a long time to completely refine it. However, he can leave here now without being restricted, and no one can interrupt his refining path. Congratulations, senior brother, for refining the devouring mountain. Yan Yan controller congratulated. Although he didn't know what benefits Yi Tian would get from it, it was definitely a huge benefit, otherwise Yi Tian wouldn't have come to the 7th Realm River, looking for the mountain of devouring. Thank you junior brother for taking action before, otherwise I would be really in a bit of trouble. Yi Tian thanked. Senior brother, you're welcome, this is what I should do. Yan Yan's controller said quickly. Immediately, Yi Tian went to the sacred mountain of Yan Yan, the master of Yan Yan, to be a guest for a long time. When leaving, Yi Tian said, if junior brother needs help in the future, you can go to the 13th Realm River to find me. Must. Yan Yan's controller is overjoyed. This is a promise, the promise of the 10-line ancestors' direct disciple is definitely a big opportunity. Leaving from the 7th Realm River, Yi Tian came directly to Wanyuan Mountain. Next, he plans to refine the Swallowing Mountain in Wanyuan Mountain and turn it into a part of himself. It has to be said that the Mountain of Devouring is more difficult to refine than the Black Silence Sea. Years and years have passed by. You must know that Yi Tian's current cultivation strength is many times stronger than when he devoured the Black Silence Sea. It is reasonable to say that it should be easy to refine the Swallowing Mountain, but in fact it is still difficult. Comparing from the essence of life, he is actually inferior to the Mountain of Devouring, the gap is huge. The long years have passed, and the year of the 130,000 World River has passed. After such a long hard training, Yi Tian finally refined the Mountain of Devouring on this day. The moment the refining was successful, Yi Tian's life level began to transform, his body transformed, and the body in control was also transformed. Boom! Endless energy poured in. Fortunately, Wanyuan Mountain did not lack energy. And at this moment, the official disciples on Wanyuan Mountain noticed the movement on Yi Tian's side. What did this senior brother do to have such a huge breakthrough? After this senior brother's breakthrough, his strength has probably improved a lot. Perhaps it won't be long before this senior brother's strength surpasses us, and we have to work hard. A formal disciple was discussing, his tone was full of envy and awe. After a long time, the transformation was completed. The level of life has skyrocketed, the body in control has risen from the 5th level to the 6th level, the strength has entered the 8th domain level, and it is only one step away from the 9th domain level. Yi Tian is very excited, the improvement this time is too great. In addition, he also gained a huge ability from the Devouring Mountain. Before, he devoured the Black Silence Sea, his power was endless, and he could fight forever without running out of power. And this time, he devoured the Mountain of Devouring, possessing a powerful devouring ability. Of course, he can't be like the Mountain of Devouring, and the energy of swallowing can be quickly raised to a higher realm, as if there is no end. His ability is to devour the enemy's attack, so that he can't cause huge damage to himself. That is to say, even if he is fighting with the 9-domain level controller now, the other party may not be able to defeat him. This ability alone is already very perverted. Moreover, his will has also improved a lot, and he is now at the peak of his will in the middle stage of the 9th order, which is not far from his will in the later stage of the 9th order. My life swallowing technique still has one chance left, and I can't use it casually. I will swallow it when I encounter a better special life in the future. Yi Tian planned in his heart. Right now, all he needs to do is to attack the 9-domain level controller level. This time, his life level has been greatly improved, and it will be much easier to improve the body in control in the future. However, if you want to truly improve your strength greatly, you have to rely on the creation of source control skills. Another time has passed. On this day, Yi Tian received a message from Shizhen Tenxing ancestor. The Tenxing patriarch is about to preach. Every long time, Shixing ancestor will preach a sermon, but all disciples above the official disciple can listen to Shixing ancestor's sermons. Of course, you can also choose not to go, which is very free. For flowers, listening to Shixing ancestor's sermon, such great things, Yi Tian will naturally go. Wanyuan Mountain, Wanyuan Hall. Tenxing ancestor sits cross-legged here, and a group of 5 disciples sits, among them the highest in the front, because he is his own disciple. Senior brother Zhang Yu and 4th senior sister Shui Envy also came, but 2nd senior brother and 3rd senior brother did not come. Soon, Shixing Zhu's sermon began. Endless Tao sound diffused out. This time, Shixing Zhu was talking about the origin control skills, the body under control, and the will, which was a big opportunity for Yi Tian. This sermon has been going on for a long period of time, which is extremely long. After the sermon, many disciples said gratefully, "Thank you, Master." Afterwards, the disciples left. And Yi Tian also returned to his residence, slowly consuming the insights gained from listening to Shi Xing ancestors' sermons. Another period of time passed. Yi Tian gradually digested these insights. And through the preaching of the 10 Elements ancestor, Yi Tian also has a better understanding of the origin control technique. The general eternal control person can't touch the level of the origin control technique at all, and there is no hope to create it. Under normal circumstances, the eternal master spends endless long years to comprehend and create. If the comprehension is high, coupled with the right opportunity, there is a weak hope to create the source control technique. However, there are too few such eternal masters who silently comprehend and create source control skills. Most of them rely on another method, that is, the Jhe monument. Every boundary river, a boundary river monument will be born every long years, and once a boundary river monument appears, it will cause fierce competition, because understanding the boundary river monument can accelerate the creation of the source control skills. For example, the old man with white beard was lucky enough to obtain a fragment of the Jhe tablet, a very small fragment, and later traded with Yi Tian. Now, the fragment of the boundary river monument is in his hands. Now, this boundary river monument fragment does not help him much. But a complete boundary river monument is of great value. With the strength of the 10 Elements ancestor, it is naturally easy to obtain some boundary river tablets, but his practice is laissez-faire to his disciples, and he will not bestow any boundary river tablets. Therefore, Yi Tian can only rely on himself to obtain the Jhe monument. This day, Yi Tian came to ask the 4th senior sister, Shui Nv, about the Jhe tablet. Chapter 1864 The Boundary River Monument in Tongyang Mountain. Wanyuan Mountain, the residence of the 4th sister. Yi Tian came here and asked for advice. 4th senior sister, junior brother has some questions that I would like to ask, 1 or 2 questions. Little junior brother, if there is any problem, if senior sister knows, I will definitely tell you. Shui Nv said with a smile. Yi Tian asked, 4th senior sister, I have always wanted to create the source control technique, but it is very difficult to create it slowly with my own understanding, and the time it takes is too long. I know that the Jhe tablet can assist in understanding. Created the source control technique, but I don't know where to find the Jhe tablet. I have no clue, so I came to ask the 4th senior sister. 1. Jhe tablet, this is a good thing. Everyone wants more. In the early years, Master had quite a few Jhe tablets in his hand, and then he gave them to your senior brother. As a result, the senior brother has countless resources, plus the Jhe tablet does not require cultivation problems at all, and the master often preaches, refers to the 937 points, and even gives all kinds of precious secrets to the senior brother. As a result, the senior brother lacks self-motivation and has been trapped in that he has reached the level of the 7 realm level controllers. Therefore, in the future, the master will not give resources to the apprentices, so as not to take the apprentices in a wrong way. Otherwise, you don't need to worry about the Jhe tablet now. Senior sister, I also have the Jhe tablet on me, but the master said before that there should be no transfer of treasure resources between brothers, sisters, and brothers. Snow Maiden said so. Yi Tian nodded. 4th senior sister, I also know, so I thought about getting the Jhe tablet from Wanyuan Mountain, but I just wanted to ask for other methods. Shui Nu was silent for a while, and then said, it takes a long time for a Jhe monument to be born, and there are many people who snatch it, and those who can obtain the complete Jhe monument are controllers above the 3 realms level. Of course, the types of Jhe monuments are different. If it is useless to others, it will not necessarily be snatched. Moreover, if you snatch the Jhe monument, if you have no background and strength, you will not be able to keep it. Sometimes, whether you can obtain the Jhe monument depends on luck. However, if you want to obtain the Jhe monument, there are other ways, such as going to the relics of some powerhouses. Some powerhouses have fallen, but the Jhe monument is still preserved. If they get their inheritance, they can still get their Jhe monument. Yi Tian's eyes lit up. Indeed, this method is feasible. Afterwards, Shui Nu gave Yi Tian a few pieces of information, all of which were the remains of a strong man who was very likely to possess the Jhe monument, but so far it has not been completely taken away for inheritance. Thank you, 4th senior sister. Yi Tian thanked. Little junior brother is polite. When you become stronger in the future, senior sister, I may have to ask you to protect me. Shui Nu joked. After leaving from Shui Nu, Yi Tian quickly left Wanyuan Mountain. According to the information provided by Shui Nu, in the Sea of Origin realm, there are several relics left after the fall of the strong men, and the first one he will go to is the Tongyang Mountain in the Sea of Origin realm. Tongyang Mountain is the dojo where the Master of Tongyang once practiced, and the Master of Tongyang is the Master of the 5 realms. It is a pity that he accidentally fell when he was exploring a restricted area in the Sea of Origin. After that, many people passed through Tongyang Mountain, but none of them found the Jihei monument left by the Master of Tongyang. But what is certain is that the Master of Tongyang has a Boundary River monument, and it is located in Tongyang Mountain, but this Tongyang Mountain has many magic circles, and even created this magic circle with the Boundary River monument as the source. The Jihei monument can mobilize the power of the Jihei or the source of the sea, so it is often used as one of the foundations of the magic circle. If you forcibly break this array, you will need at least the strength of a 6th realm level controller, and once the array is forcibly broken, the Jihei tablet will be destroyed, and the Jihei tablet will be turned into countless pieces of powder, and the value will be lost. Basically, those 6 realm level controllers would not do this kind of thing. When they reach the 6 realm level controller level, ordinary Jihei tablets would be useless to them, and there was no need to do so. Therefore, whoever can obtain the inheritance of the Master of Tongyang can control the magic circle and obtain the Boundary River monument. Let's go to Tongyang Mountain first. Yi Tian tore the barrier between the 13th Boundary River and the Origin Virtual Circle, and then went to the Origin Boundary Sea from the Origin Virtual Circle. This is also the first time Yi Tian has come to the Sea of Origin. The Sea of Origin, Yi Tian came here, and it felt similar to Jihei. In fact, Jihei was just a branch of the Source Ji, but the Source Ji was many times bigger than Jihei. And there are many strong people here. Among the boundary rivers, there are very few eternal controllers, and a few eternal controllers in an area can build a giant city and become a great existence that countless creatures envy. But in the Sea of Origin, the average controller can actually only become a top powerhouse in a small area. In a giant city, the number of controllers is definitely more than 100. At this time, Yi Tian came to a giant city called Hades City, and found that there are a lot of eternal controllers here, and the number of half-step eternal controllers is even more. Compared with this giant city, the 13th Boundary River is much weaker. Of course, this is the Source Boundary Sea, and naturally it is not comparable to the 13th Boundary River. In the ancient city of Hades, Yi Tian stayed for a while, mainly to understand the origin of the river. Although his brothers and sisters must know more about the Source World Sea, he will not ask them about this trivial matter. After staying for a while, Yi Tian knew the location of Tongyang Mountain. So on this day, he went directly to Tongyang Mountain. I have to say that Tongyang Mountain is still very famous. No, it should be said that the Boundary River Monument is too attractive, so there are a lot of eternal controllers who come here. They all want to obtain the inheritance of Tongyang controllers, in order to obtain the Boundary River Monument and other treasures. Standing outside Tongyang Mountain, Yi Tian looked. What a powerful array, Yi Tian muttered. If he attacks such a formation, he can't even shake it. According to his understanding, the reason why many people can't obtain the inheritance of the Master of Tongyang is because the Master of Tongyang fell too unexpectedly, and they do not want to leave it to others at all. A lot of good things left here, as well as treasures or secret techniques, etc., are all treasures of the Master of Tongyang, and there is also a tool Spirit Palm 5.8 on the mountain to control the overall situation. Tongyang controller did not intend to give inheritance. How to obtain inheritance? As for selling that artifact, it is impossible. At present, there are only a few methods that I can think of, one of which is to crack the magic circle where the tool spirit is located, and by grasping the tool spirit, you can control all the magic circles in Tongyang Mountain. There is another kind, which is to forcibly break the first level formation method, go directly to the Jihei monument, and directly comprehend there, without taking the Jihei monument. At present, several first and second level controllers have done this, and they have become enlightened there. Of course, there is no way to do it without the strength of a first and second level controller. Unfortunately, Yi Tian is only an 8th domain level controller and cannot do it in the second way. However, he also thought of a third method. If it succeeds, then there is hope. Chapter 1865 Take control of Tongyang Mountain and #039, S Artifact Spirit. Yi Tian's method is very simple, that is to copy the body of the Master of Tongyang. Of course, it is not the Master of Tongyang in its heyday, but the Master of Tongyang at the 8th domain level. After all, Yi Tian is only at the 8th domain level, so naturally he can only copy the 8th domain level Tongyang controller. His copying talent is absolutely undetectable by the artifact spirit of Tongyang Mountain. Once he replicates the body of the master of Tongyang and enters Tongyang Mountain in a state of being seriously injured and dying, he will definitely be noticed by the artifact spirit of Tongyang Mountain. Arrive. The tool spirit will definitely investigate his body and soul will, etc., and find that in addition to the cultivation base, the others are the real masters of Tongyang, and I am afraid that they will be dumbfounded. Although the tool spirit knows that the master of Tongyang has fallen, what if it is reborn in a special way? This kind of thing is not impossible, but has a very low probability. At that time, Qi Ling is afraid that he will really think that he is the master of Tongyang who has returned from the rebirth, and will bring him into the interior of Tongyang Mountain to treat his injuries. At the critical moment, he can directly grasp the tool spirit, thus 29 controlling Tongyang Mountain. Of course, it is also possible that the artifact will ignore him. However, you have to give it a try. If the artifact spirit is extremely loyal to the master of Tongyang, and even loses its reason, it will definitely succeed. Immediately, Yi Tian began to spy on time and space, looking for the figure of the fallen master of Tongyang, and only in the past time and space can he see the fallen master of Tongyang and know his body. It didn't take long for Yi Tian to see the space-time figure of the 8th domain level master of Tongyang, and after the copying talent was recorded, he dispersed the copying body. Yi Tian can only reproduce one body, so he must disperse this body. Time passed slowly, and Yi Tian copied the body of the master of Tongyang little by little, spending a lot of resources and time. After a long time, this replica body finally condensed. Immediately, with a mask, Yi Tian concealed his aura, and from the 13th Jihei, went to Tongyang Mountain in the source Ji again. Yi Tian's arrival did not attract the attention of too many eternal controllers, and Yi Tian soon turned into the appearance of being seriously injured and dying, plunged into Tongyang Mountain and crashed into a formation. And at this time, Yi Tian's mask was cracked, and there was no trace of hiding anymore. In fact, Yi Tian's injury is not a disguise, he has wounded himself to such an extent that he is seriously injured and dying. However, he is not afraid. Even if he is seriously injured and dying, he still has the secret of life, one of the top 10 secret techniques. Even if the injury is serious, he can save his life and recover quickly. Therefore, he is not afraid of making himself seriously injured. Tongyang Mountain, deep. The moment Yi Tian came in, the artifact spirit of Tongyang Mountain noticed it. Master. No, didn't the master fall? The tool spirit is very confused. But he activated the magic circle and carefully spied Yi Tian's body and soul aura. 8th domain level, the cultivation base is very low, but the body and soul are clearly the master. Qi Ling was surprised. As the most powerful tool spirit in the master of Tongyang, his knowledge is naturally not short. Even if it is a disguise, it is impossible to disguise to such an extent. Try the Tongyang mirror that the master had before his life. If you can match the Tongyang mirror, then you are the master. Then, the tool spirit activated the Tongyang mirror, and the Tongyang mirror passed through the layers of the magic circle and entered the magic circle where Yi Tian was. Tong Yangjing released a faint light, shining on Yi Tian's body, and Tong Yangjing soon shook with joy. It's the master, it's the master, the spirit inside the Tongyang mirror said excitedly. There is more than one spirit in Tongyang Mountain, there are also spirits in Tongyang mirror. And it is the artifact spirit in charge of the entire Tongyang Mountain formation, and it belongs to the artifact spirit of the Tongyang Pagoda. Now, the Tongyang Pagoda was so excited that it even recognized the Tongyang mirror, which meant that this was his master. It didn't have time to think about it, because the owner's injuries were deteriorating. Although the master has fallen before, his will may not be destroyed, and he survived in a special way. After finally getting out of the predicament and encountering danger, he rushed back to Tongyang Mountain. It must be like this. First bring the master into the Tongyang Pagoda, and give him the healing treasures left by the master during his lifetime. Artifact said. The magic circle was urged, and Yi Tian's body was moved to the depths of Tongyang Mountain. Success. Yi Tian was very excited. Soon, he was moved to the inside of Tongyang Pagoda. At this time, the item spirit appeared, and it brought a lot of healing treasures. Master, you must recover. Ji Ling repaired Yi Tian's injuries. And suddenly, Yi Tian used the secret of life for himself, and the injury on his body recovered at an extremely fast speed. Hey, the master's injury is recovering so quickly, how good are the treasures I took out? The spirit was confused. Suddenly, his expression changed. So at this moment, Yi Tian started. Under the display of the secret of time, his thinking reaction was too fast, far surpassing this artifact spirit. Before the artifact spirit could react, Yi Tian grabbed the artifact spirit with one hand. Seal. A set of sealing secret techniques specially aimed at artifact spirits has been displayed. This set of sealing secret techniques comes from Wanyuan Mountain, and it is not something that the artifact spirits of Tongyang Pagoda can resist. In an instant, the artifact spirit of Tongyang Pagoda was sealed. Master, what are you doing? Why are you sealing me? Artifact shouted. Sorry, I'm not your master of 937. Yi Tian sighed. Impossible, you are obviously the master, and your body can be disguised, but your soul aura and origin are the master, and even Tongyongjing has recognized you. Yi Tian shook his head. This is my method, no need to explain to you. Immediately, Yi Tian began to cast the secret of death for this artifact spirit. The secret of death is a secret technique for protection, but it can also control life and death. The spirit of the tool is also a kind of special life, and naturally the secret of death can also be cast on it. Soon, Yi Tian successfully cast the secret of death on the artifact spirit, and only then did the seal be lifted. Bad man, you are courting death. Qi Ling was furious and wanted to control the formation of Tongyang Pagoda and Tongyang Mountain to suppress Yi Tian. However, Yi Tian unleashed the secret of death, causing the artifact spirit to lose control in an instant. You can't hurt me, you should still accept me as the master. 1. Yi Tian said. Impossible, the spirit is arrogant. Seeing this, Yi Tian had no choice but to forcibly refine the Tongyang Pagoda. Anyway, the tool spirit can no longer resist, and there is no way for him to forcibly refine it. Time passed slowly, and after a long time, Yi Tian could be considered to have completely refined the Tongyang Pagoda, a high-ranking soldier who controlled the world. Under the dual control of the secret of death and the Tongyang Pagoda of refining, the artifact spirit has completely accepted its fate. Owner, Tongyang Pagoda artifact spirit shouted helplessly. Chapter 1866 I go, is this okay? Conquering the artifact spirit of Tongyang Pagoda is equivalent to controlling Tongyang Mountain. Yi Tian is in a good mood at the moment. Transfer the authority of the Tongyang Mountain formation to me. Yi Tian ordered. Yes, master. The tool spirit truthfully handed over the authority. Soon, Yi Tian completely controlled all the magic formations in Tongyang Mountain. Immediately, with a single thought, he could perceive the time and space of Tongyang Mountain, and all the treasures were within his perception. The Jihei Monument is here, Yi Tian said with a smile. However, Tongyang Mountain is now his territory. He can control the magic circle here. Although he can't kill the controllers of the first and second realms, he can expel them and let them go. Then, Yi Tian's voice spread all over the Tongyang Mountain. Tongyang Mountain is under my control, please leave. Then, under the control of Yi Tian, the controllers were moved out of Tongyang Mountain. Several first and second world level controllers near the Jihei Monument, they came here forcibly by virtue of their own strength, even the previous Tongyang Pagoda artifact spirit could not help him. But that is the strength of Tongyang Pagoda artifact spirit is not enough, even if it controls the magic circle, it cannot exert much power. But Yi Tian is different, he is very powerful in manipulating the magic circle. Boom, the power of the magic circle came, forcibly expelled the controllers to leave. Tongyang Mountain formation is controlled by other eternal controllers. Who is it? These eternal masters were stunned. Go back. One by one the controllers no longer competed against the magic circle here, and they quit one by one. The eternal controller has only one true god, but he does not dare to fall here. Once he falls, he will die. They don't know who controls the Tongyang Mountain formation. If it is a second-level controller, they are not opponents. If the other party has the intention to kill, they will surely die. So, take advantage of the time to leave and run away. In an instant, all the eternal masters of Tongyang Mountain withdrew, standing around Tongyang Mountain and looking at each other. Who controls Tongyang Mountain? A second-level controller asked curiously. He had been studying the Jihei Monument in Tongyang Mountain for a long time, and suddenly found that someone had taken control of the Jihei Monument in Tongyang Mountain. You must know that it is very difficult to control Tongyang Mountain. If the strength is too strong, even if the magic formation of Tongyang Mountain cannot stop it, it will take the means of perishing together so that the most top eternal controllers can't get anything. And the strength is too weak to grasp the tool spirit at all, and they can only comprehend the Jihei tablet like them. I do not know, I don't know, it seems that there are no signs. Suddenly, Tongyang Mountain was controlled by some eternal controller. 1. Everyone can spy on the time and space here to see if there is an eternal controller that has entered but has not come out. Immediately, these eternal masters spy on the past. Soon, they locked a masked 8-level controller in the past time and space, only he entered, and has not been removed so far. Moreover, he just went in not long ago and seems to be injured. It's just that the speed of the other party was too fast, and it crashed directly into Tongyang Mountain. Naturally no one noticed. Who is this man? They are curious. Come on, your strength is too weak to spy on his true face in the past time and space figure. I am the second realm level controller, I should be able to spy on his true face. The second realm level controller, the Wu Year controller, said. Then ask the uninitiated controller to take action and satisfy our curiosity. Said the other Eternal Masters. That's right, just to satisfy curiosity and retake Tongyang Mountain, it must be hopeless, and they have no such idea. Boom, the time and space are distorted, and the past time and space are presented. Under the control of the time and space attainments of the ageless controller, the time and space are peeled off layer by layer. Finally, the mask on Yi Tian's body in the past time and space figure was peeled off, revealing his true face. What? This is the master of Tongyang. The yearless controller was stunned. The other controllers were also dumbfounded. The Tongyang controller is back. No, it should be said that the master of Tongyang is alive. That's not right, the master of Tongyang is dead. This is a confirmation. Several eternal masters have spied on time and space to confirm that, at his level, he can't be resurrected at all. Even if he is an eternal master beyond the 10-world level, I can't revive him. Said a first-level controller. So there is only one possibility, a certain 8-level controller disguised as a Tongyang controller, and also disguised as a seriously injured and dying body, and entered Tongyang Mountain. Then the artifact spirit of Tongyang Mountain saw this and sent this. The 8-level controller was brought in to heal, and the 8-level controller took the opportunity to seize the artifact spirit and control Tongyang Mountain. Although I can't see the past time and space inside Tongyang Mountain, this guess should be correct. The year controller deduced. That's fine too. Isn't the artifact spirit of Tongyang Mountain so stupid? An eternal master was surprised. Although there is some righteousness, this is the most reasonable explanation. The yearless controller said, God, I knew that the artifact spirit of Tongyang Mountain was so stupid. I used this method. Maybe Tongyang Mountain is mine. I regret it too. If I could really travel to the past and stay there, I would definitely do it. 1. This 8-domain level controller is very lucky, and the mere 8-domain level controller has obtained a Tongyang Mountain. I am afraid that it will take off. It will definitely be no problem to become a first-level controller in the future. 1. It's not clear who he is, but it will definitely be revealed later, unless he never shows up. After these eternal masters discussed for a long time, they left. From their point of view, Promise Zhao Zhao, the one who controls Tongyang Mountain, is afraid that he will cultivate in Tongyang Mountain for a period of time and will not appear, so there is no need to wait here. It is a waste of time. In a short time, all the eternal masters here left, and the lively Tongyang Mountain was left unattended. At this moment, Yi Tian was in the treasure house of Tongyang Mountain, investigating the treasures in the treasure house. Although the master of Tongyang fell, and most of his treasures were on his body, he lost it, but there are still some things in the treasure house of Tongyang Mountain, which is a little helpful to Yi Tian. Of course, the biggest gain is this Boundary River Monument. He had seen it before. Although the Jiehe Monument was still not the most complete, it was only missing a corner. Compared with the complete Jiehe Monument, the effect was similar. It's time to comprehend the Jiehe Monument. I hope that with the help of this Jiehe Monument, I can comprehend and create a source control technique. Yi Tian looked forward. Chapter 1867 Origin Control Skills, a World-Level Master. This Boundary River Monument in Tongyang Mountain is the Boundary River Monument of Fire. The best Boundary River Monuments are naturally the Time Boundary River Monument and the Space Boundary River Monument, but after understanding the Boundary River Monument of Fire, with the source of fire as the core, and then with the help of time and space, and many Taos, it is still possible to create a good source control technique. In front of the Jiehe Monument, Yi Tian sat cross-legged, comprehended the Jiehe Monument up close, and silently understood the way of fire contained in the Upper Realm River Monument. Although he controls the way of fire, it does not mean that he controls the infinite changes of the way of fire, and what is displayed on the Jiehe tablet is the infinite changes of the way of fire. From the infinite changes, mastering the use of the way of fire can hope to create the source control technique. According to the secrets recorded in Wanyuan Mountain, it is useless to master one or two kinds of changes of any kind, and it is useless to master one kind of change. Only by mastering millions of changes can we hope to create the mastery of the source and master the billions of changes. Only after 10,000 changes can one create a top-notch source control technique. Yi Tian muttered. And he controls 3,000 Dao, but each Dao controls at most dozens of hundreds of changes. Even if combined with 3,000 Dao, there is no way to create a source control technique. He also wanted to be proficient in one kind of Dao and master many kinds of changes, but every time he mastered one kind of change, it would take an incomparably long time. Therefore, everyone wants to obtain the Jihei tablet, and they can grasp all kinds of changes faster. Yi Tian silently comprehends this boundary river monument in Tongyang Mountain, and has been comprehending it all the time. As time passed, he mastered the changes of the way of fire one by one, and this kind of efficiency was thousands of times faster than usual silently comprehending. 1,000 kinds, 10,000 kinds, 50,000 kinds, thousands of species. Yi Tian has mastered more and more changes in the way of fire. All changes are in his heart, and he also has a vague understanding of the creation of the source control skills. Certainly, Yi Tian at least has to master millions of changes in the way of fire before trying to create the source control technique. In a blink of an eye, Yi Tian has comprehended 200,000 boundary river years, which is also a very long time for him. On this day, Yi Tian finally mastered 1,000,000 changes in the way of fire, but the more he went on, the more difficult it became to master one more change. One can imagine how terrifying it is to master 100 million changes. Forget it, in a short period of time, it is quite good to be able to create a source control technique. Yi Tian thought to himself. Now, Yi Tian has mastered millions of changes in the way of fire, and he intends to use the way of fire as the core, combined with other ways, to create a source control technique. This time, he did not pursue the power of the source control technique. As long as it was created, it would be considered a success. After all, this time is just a beginning, an attempt, and the requirements cannot be too high. With the existence of the secret of comprehension, Yi Tian is not only efficient in comprehending the many changes of the way of fire, but it is also easier than others to create the origin control technique. Now that he has mastered the millions of changes in the way of fire, he naturally has 100% certainty to create the source control technique. It is only a matter of time. One boundary year after another has passed, and about 80,000 boundary years have passed. This day, Yi Tian finally created a source control technique. In a cultivation time and space in Tongyang Mountain, Yi Tian waved his hand, and a fiery ray of light hit him. Many times and spaces were shattered, and the terrifying spread to the depths of infinite time and space. Boom! The power of this blow is too terrifying, and the scope of the impact is also very fast. Flame explosion. This is the name of this source control technique created by Yi Tian, and its strength is naturally terrifying, surpassing any time-space control technique created by Yi Tian in the past. And with the creation of this control technique, Yi Tian's strength skyrocketed, directly from the 8-domain level controller to the 1-CJFI world-level controller realm. Although his current strength belongs to the lowest level among the world-level controllers, he is indeed a world-level controller, surpassing the 9-domain level controllers. Tongyang Pagoda inspired Yi Tian created a source control technique, and was immediately surprised. During this time, it has been paying attention to its new owner. Obviously, the previous Yi Tian didn't know the source control technique at all, and he didn't even have much control over the changes of the way of fire. After obtaining the river tablet of the fire boundary, he created the source control technique in a short period of time. In its eyes, the mere hundreds of thousands of years can only be described in a short period of time. This new master's talent is too enchanting. I don't know how many times more enchanting than the previous master. If the previous master also had such talent, it is estimated that he would not fall. Tongyang Pagoda Tool Spirit thought. Yi Tian's talent is so monstrous, and it is not ashamed to be the artifact spirit of such a powerhouse. After thinking about it like this, the mentality of Tongyang Pagoda's artifact spirit changed. After creating the origin control skill of inflammatory explosion, it would be difficult for Yi Tian to create a second origin control skill, unless he obtained other Jihei tablets, made continuous progress in many changes in other Taos, and controlled more than 1,000,000 yuan. The change. However, he had luck in obtaining this Jihei tablet, and it would be much more difficult to obtain other Jihei tablets. I haven't been to some of the locations that fourth senior sister gave me back then. I haven't been there yet. I can go and see them. Maybe I can get a boundary river monument. Yi Tian thought to himself. So, he left Tongyang Mountain and went to other places. However, before leaving Tongyang Mountain, he dispersed this body and recondensed his own duplicate body. He didn't want to become the master of Tongyang, and then be studied by the powerhouses in the Sea of Origin. Others think that he is a disguise, but he even has the same soul breath and origin, which cannot be explained by disguise. Anyway, he has completely controlled the magic formation of Tongyang Mountain. Even the Tongyang Pagoda artifact spirit can't intervene, so he can go to Tongyang Mountain with his own appearance in the future. After spending some time and resources to recondense and replicate his body, Yi Tian entered the Sea of Origin realm again and went to the second location given by the fourth senior sister. At this time, no one knew that Yi Tian had left Tongyang Mountain, and they were still waiting, trying to find out Yi Tian's true identity. It is conceivable that they are afraid that they will not be able to find out Yi Tian's identity for a long time, unless Yi Tian takes the initiative to go to Tongyang Mountain by copying his body and voluntarily reveal his identity. Chapter 1868. A group of controllers play collection games. The source world C, the map city. This is the second address given by the fourth senior sister Shui Nu, and it is a very famous place. It is much more famous than Tongyang Mountain. There are many eternal controllers here, and it is the only city composed of eternal controllers. How rare is the eternal controller, and the residents in this city are composed of the eternal controller, which shows how exaggerated it is. Of course, this is not the domain of an eternal master, and no one has completely occupied it. The reason why so many eternal controllers are attracted here is naturally because of the Jihei monument, and there is more than one Jihei monument because there are many Jia River monuments here. There is an inheritance of a 7-level controller in the map city. This person took the initiative to leave the inheritance, and took out all the dozens of boundary monuments he had obtained in his life as a reward. Everyone can get this reward. The premises is the key to collect him, release. This 7 realms level controller is called the Old Man of Guishan, and he has a very bad taste. At first, he was subject to certain death, but in fact he can live for a long time, so he arranged for a long time and built the tower. Tuda connects multiple time spaces, enters each time space where Tuda is located, and passes through some levels to get key fragments. The key fragments obtained in different levels are different. Once all the fragments of the key are collected, a truly perfect key can be formed, and a Jihei tablet can be obtained, and the Jihei tablet can be taken directly from the map. The real key consists of 365 fragments, but some 108 key fragments can be combined into small keys, and can also be exchanged for some precious rewards and resources. After all, what the Old Man of Guishan left behind is not only the Jihei tablet, but also many resources, treasures, etc., which can also be exchanged. And how many key fragments are in the Tuda? It is not clear, it is almost endless. Many eternal masters are very boring, they come here to collect key fragments, and even exchange the key fragments they need with each other. If you are lucky, you can collect the small key. As for getting the perfect key, it is very difficult, but after a long time, someone still got it together and obtained the Boundary River Monument from the Tuda. Yi Tian came to Tu City and learned about the situation. He felt that Tuda's collection of key fragments was very similar to some small games on the Earth, but the years were too long, and his memory about the Earth was a little fuzzy. This Old Man of Guishan really has bad taste. This is to let a large number of eternal masters play games here. Yi Tian thought to himself. In his opinion, the purpose of many eternal controllers in Tachang is not to obtain the Boundary River Monument, but more for the fun of obtaining key fragments. Many eternal masters can't make progress for endless years, and actually don't expect progress. If they don't find some fun, they will be very boring. Many eternal controllers went straight to sleep because they were too bored. Therefore, it is not bad to have a city like Tachang. If you collect all 365 key fragments, it will be very difficult. The larger the serial number, the easier it is to collect, and the value is also the lowest. Yi Tian learned that the number 1 key fragment is the rarest, and there are only a few dozen in total, followed by the number 2 key fragment, and there are also very few key fragments with integer serial numbers. In addition, if 36 consecutive key fragments and 72 consecutive key fragments are collected, they can be turned into a treasure box, and a treasure box can be opened randomly by placing the treasure box in the map. Of course, after opening, the treasure box disappears, and the collected key fragments will also be taken away by Tuda. A small treasure box is formed by combining 36 consecutive key fragments, and a large treasure box is formed by combining 72 consecutive keys. To synthesize the small key, you must obtain the second key fragment, and to synthesize the perfect key, you must collect the first key fragment. Interesting, really fun. Yi Tian smiled. In the shops of Tachang, some eternal masters are selling key fragments. These key fragments exude eternal and immortal light and look very extraordinary. The price of these key shards fluctuates and is often affected by the number of other key shards in the city. Those who sell key fragments are ordinary eternal controllers. They know that there is a lack of resources, so they sell key fragments that they do not need or need. Yi Tian looked at some stores, but didn't buy it. Ask for flowers. He can go to Tuta to collect key fragments himself, unless he really lacks a certain key fragment and it is difficult to collect, he will consider buying the missing key fragments. Go to Tuta first. Yi Tian walked towards Tuta. Soon, he came to a tower that could not see the height, as if it ran through infinite time and space, and seemed to be infinitely high. It's extraordinary, it's worthy of being a figure built by a 7-realm level controller. Yi Tian muttered. In the Source Realm Sea, the number of controllers above the 7th realm level is very rare, and each of them is a big man who is famous throughout the Source Realm Sea. For example, the 4 brothers and sisters of Yi Tian are such characters. Yi Tian walked into the Tuta, which was divided into an exchange area and a customs clearance area. Yi Tian came directly to the clearance area and took a fancy to these level tasks. The customs clearance area is very complicated. For example, entering a place called the time and space of the monsters, where there are many monsters, and killing the monsters has a certain chance to obtain key fragments. These strange beasts are special creatures derived from the rules created by the old man of Kamiyama. In any time and space, they are immortal. Even if they are killed now, they will be reborn after a period of time. Only by breaking the rules laid out by the old man of Kamiyama, can these rules be completely smashed and disappeared. And those controllers who are stronger than the old man of Kamiyama will naturally not be bored enough to do such a thing. In short, the stronger the monster, the greater the chance of killing key fragments. Of course, every long time, the time and space of the beast will be opened once, and a large number of eternal controllers will enter it. There will be certain dangers in this process. If it falls in the time and space of the beast, it will really fall. Therefore, there are still few eternal masters who dare to enter the fight. In addition to the time and space of the monsters, there is also the Tower of Battle Power. According to the strength, there is no danger. Every time you pass through a floor, you will definitely get a key fragment. This is also the easiest place to obtain key fragments. Yi Tian read all the levels that could obtain key fragments, and knew what he was doing. Go to the battle tower first and get some key fragments. 1. Yi Tian decides the way. Chapter 1869 Missed Adventure, IN-039, M hanging up. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Tuta's Battle Power Tower is divided into 9 and 81 floors. Each time you pass through a floor, you can get a key fragment, but almost all of them are ordinary key fragments. It is said that the higher the number of layers passed, the greater the chance of obtaining the No. 1 key fragment and No. 2 key fragment. Of course, after passing through the layers, there is no reward for breaking through again, and you can only receive the reward once. Yi Tian directly applied for the Battle Power Tower. On the first floor of the Battle Power Tower, Yi Tian came here, and figures appeared one after another. The strength of these figures is not weak, it is equivalent to the top half-step Eternal Controller, and the number is only a bit large. This layer is considered a benefit. Any Eternal Controller can break through. After all, the Eternal Controller can easily slaughter a group of half-step Eternal Controllers. Yi Tian didn't exert any effort at all, he directly crushed his breath, smashed these half-step Eternal Controllers, and passed the first floor of the 9 Sanchi of the Battle Power Tower. Just after breaking through, a key fragment emerged. Key fragment 288. Yi Tian muttered, this can only be regarded as an ordinary key fragment, but a white key fragment is not bad. Subsequently, Yi Tian continued to break into the Battle Power Tower. On the second floor, there is only one figure here, and its strength is equivalent to the weakest Eternal Controller, so the weaker first-level controllers can defeat him, unless it is the first-level controllers with core strength. Regardless, there is no way to beat it. But for Yi Tian, the difficulty of the second layer is still very low. He instantly killed the opponent on the second floor and passed the second floor. Then the third, fourth, fifth. The number of layers Yi Tian has passed through is getting higher and higher, and he has gradually reached the 40th floor. Basically, without the strength of a world level, it is impossible to break through the 40th floor. 40th floor, Yi Tian was fighting with a controller whose strength was close to that of a realm. The time and space here are constantly collapsing, and it seems that there is no winner or loser. Suddenly, Yi Tian used the source control technique, Pyroblast. Boom! With one blow, the power of the pyrotechnic shattered layers of time and space, and also severely damaged the opponent on the 40th floor. Soon, Yi Tian passed the 40th floor. Wow! A key fragment fell in front of Yi Tian. Shard key 6. Yi Tian put it away without any surprises. 40 floor. Yi Tian fought with the opponent for a long time on this floor, and the time and space were shattered endlessly, and the body and control was cracked countless times. And this layer is also Yi Tian's limit. He is temporarily unable to break through the 42nd floor. On the 42nd floor, the key fragment Yi Tian obtained was the 13th key fragment, which was of average value. The battle tower is temporarily unable to obtain key fragments, so let's leave first. Yi Tian left the battle power tower. And the time and space of the monsters has not been opened for the time being, so he is going to go to another level of Tuta Mist Exploration. Mist Exploration is a bit of a gamble, because if you want to enter the Fog Exploration, you must pay a key fragment. After paying, you can enter the Fog Exploration level and explore the foggy area. This foggy area is a special time and space, built by the Old Man of Guishan, and the rules inside are naturally created by the Old Man of Guishan. Once you enter the foggy exploration area, your perception will be greatly limited, and any secret techniques, exploration and other methods will not be able to explore how far away. In the foggy area, there is a kind of misty beast, which was also created by the Old Man of Guishan. It cannot be killed in the misty exploration area, but there is a treasure chest hanging on them. As long as you can catch the misty beast, you can get them. Open the treasure chest and take away the key fragments in the treasure chest. I wonder if the Mist Adventure will limit the copy talent. If the copy talent is not limited, I might be able to use the copy talent to detect the Void Mist Beast, so that I can easily find the Void Mist Beast and get the treasure chest on them. Yi Tian thought to himself. Of course, there is a time limit for entering the foggy adventure, and it will be moved out when the time is up, and only one entry is allowed at most in 10,000 years. Yi Tian paid a key fragment and was immediately sent by Tuta into the Mist Adventure time and space. Yi Tian came to a foggy exploration time and space. The fog here is different from the foggy area between the Eternal Realm and the Boundary River. The foggy area here will affect even the Eternal Master. Basically, if the strength does not surpass the Old Man of Kamiyama, it is impossible to break the rules of the foggy exploration area. Try to copy talent, will it be restricted by the rules here? Yi Tian immediately activated the copy talent. The fluctuations of the copy talent spread out, and although it was suppressed, the suppression was not very strong. Sure enough, the Old Man of Guishan can't completely suppress the copy talent. Yi Tian was overjoyed. In this way, he is almost like an open-hung existence in the foggy exploration area. Immediately, he began to use the copy talent here to find the Void Mist Beast. Yi Tian shuttled through the fog exploration area at a very fast speed, and quickly copied his talent to help him find a phantom fog beast. The strength of the Void Mist Beast is not strong, and it may not even be like a domain-level controller, but it is inherently integrated with the fog exploration area, and it cannot be killed. Other Eternal Masters do not have the ability like him, and entering here is completely dependent on luck, and it is even possible that a Void Mist Beast cannot be found. If the Void Mist Beast cannot be found, the treasure chest cannot be obtained, and the income will be zero, which is a loss. Only if you find a Void Mist Beast, and you have to catch it and get a treasure chest, it will not be a loss. This Void Mist Beast sensed Yi Tian's arrival and wanted to escape, but it couldn't hide it at all. Yi Tian came to its side in an instant, grabbed it with one hand, took away the treasure chest 5.8 on it, and then let it go. Treasure chest, open. Yi Tian opened the treasure chest, which contained a key fragment. Key fragment no. 79. Yi Tian put away the key fragment and immediately continued to look for other Void Mist Beasts. Not long after, Yi Tian found another Void Mist Beast, robbed its treasure chest, and obtained the number 39 key fragment. In this way, Yi Tian kept looking for the Void Mist Beast and obtained one key fragment after another. This kind of gain is enough to make any Eternal Controller stunned. Time passed slowly, and the key fragments on Yi Tian gradually accumulated to more than 1,000, but the number 1 key fragment and the number 2 key fragment were still not found. Finally, after obtaining the 5,000th key fragment, he finally had a big harvest. Chapter 1870 Golden Crow Blood Fruit, the Body of 7th Level Control. Second key fragment. Yi Tian smiled. After opening so many treasure chests, he finally found the number 2 key fragment. The number 2 key fragment was very rare. He didn't expect to find one. With the second key fragment, he can collect other key fragments to synthesize the small key. Small keys can be exchanged for extremely precious resources and treasures, which can be said to be extremely valuable. Yi Tian also went to Tuda's treasure exchange list before. Some of them can only be exchanged with small keys, and the exchange is limited to only one, and there are many resource treasures that are of great help to him. Subsequently, Yi Tian sorted it out and found that he had collected almost all of the 108 key fragments for the synthesis of the small key, and there was only one type of key fragment left, namely key fragment No. 333. Such key fragments are not difficult to collect or even buy. However, Yi Tian didn't plan to buy it. He was going to continue to look for it here. If he could find it, it would be the best. 29 After another period of time passed, Yi Tian found some void mist beasts, snatched their treasure chests, and took away the key fragments inside. Finally, on this day, Yi Tian found key fragment No. 333. Here's the little key, Yi Tian said excitedly. He did not rush to synthesize, but continued to look for the key fragments here. Anyway, it was still a long time before he left, so he didn't want to waste this time. After all, you can come in only once in 10,000 realms, and the next time you come in will be after 10,000 realms. Time passed, and after a long time, the time came. Yi Tian was moved out by the fog exploration time and space. Among the Tuda, Yi Tian appeared here with a smile on his face. This time, the harvest is too great. With just one key fragment, I found tens of thousands of key fragments, and also collected a small key. Yi Tian was quite excited. Immediately, he began to synthesize small keys. Synthesis can only be synthesized in the map, because this is the rule here, and it cannot be synthesized in the outside world. 108 key fragments appeared in the void, and immediately synthesized a small key. The small key with the golden light fell into Yi Tian's hands, and this small key alone was enough to make the 3 realms level controllers fight. It's time to exchange for a treasure. Yi Tian came to the exchange area. There are many eternal controllers here, all of them came to take a look, but no one exchanged. After all, there are too few eternal masters who have small keys or serial keys. Soon, Yi Tian locked a treasure. Golden Crow Blood Fruit. This is an extremely precious treasure that can be used to enhance the body of control. Yi Tian's current control body is a 6th level control body, and the Golden Crow Blood Fruit can help him upgrade from a 6th level control body to a 7th level control body. This represents his strength, and it is very likely that he will be directly promoted from a realm level controller to a 2nd level controller. Exchange for the Golden Crow Blood Fruit. Yi Tian took out the small key and applied. The application in Tuda was not kept secret, so Yi Tian took out the small key to apply for the Golden Crow Blood Fruit, which was naturally seen. Oh my god, there is a controller who has synthesized a small key. A 9-domain level controller was shocked. Who is this, who is so lucky to synthesize a small key? 1. Moreover, he exchanged the Golden Crow Blood Fruit, which is a good thing. This controller should be a 1st level controller. After obtaining the Golden Crow Blood Fruit this time, his strength is likely to reach the 2nd level controller. Immediately, many eternal masters were envious. After the exchange was successful, the Golden Crow Blood Fruit fell into Yi Tian's hands and was collected by him. At this time, a 3-realm level controller came over and said, "My friend, I want to buy the Golden Crow Blood Fruit in your hands." Not for sale. Yi Tian refused directly. What a joke, with the Golden Crow Blood Fruit, his strength will change, how could he sell such good things? Even if he exchanged a Boundary River monument with him, he would not exchange it. After all, the Boundary River monument can be obtained in the future, but if the Golden Crow Blood Fruit is gone, it is really gone. The 3-realm level controller smiled and said, "My friend, I am the son of the city lord of Fengdu City, how can I save face? My father's Fengdu controller is the 6th realm level controller." 1. A 6th realm level controller. An ordinary controller would definitely be startled when they heard this realm. This was a powerful existence second only to a 7th realm level controller, who would dare to offend. Even if your father is a 10-realm level controller, if you don't sell it, you won't sell it. Yi Tian said coldly. Very good. The other party was a little annoyed, but he didn't make a move. After all, Tucheng is forbidden to shoot, everyone has to maintain this rule, and he does not dare to violate it. What's more, it was still Tuda here, so he didn't dare to mess around. Get out of the Tuda. Yi Tian began to retreat and practice hard at Tucheng's residence, refining the Golden Crow Blood Fruit. Exclamation mark! The energy of the Golden Crow Blood Fruit exploded in his body, frantically tempering his body of control. Time passed slowly, and Yi Tian's control body gradually increased from level 6 to level 7. When Yi Tian's body reached the 7th level, his strength immediately skyrocketed. Click. Yi Tian's body moved slightly, the void was torn apart, and his body was many times stronger. In the following days, he gradually took control of his body and no longer caused the leakage of power. My strength has already reached the level of a second-level controller. If I have enough golden crow blood fruit, I can definitely raise the control of 937's body to the 8th level, and my strength can definitely reach the level of a 3-level controller. Yi Tian is confident. Full. Exploring the time and space in the fog will take 10,000 boundary river years before you can enter again. There are too few key fragments obtained in other levels, and there is no need to break through. Let's go to Tongyang Mountain to see the Wujie Monument. Yi Tian walked out of the map city. Not long after leaving Tuchang, a figure stopped Yi Tian. It's you. Yi Tian recognized it. This is the 3-realm level controller who was looking for him to buy the golden crow blood fruit, the son of the Fengdu controller, who was called the Haichen controller. Golden crow blood fruit, I have already refined it. Yi Tian said lightly. I know. Hai Chen's controller said coldly. I just want to teach you a lesson, this is the end of not giving me face. 1. It's up to you. Yi Tian sneered. Although he is only a second-level controller, it does not mean that he is worse than Hai Chen's controller. He refines and devours the mountain of devouring. Even if it is the attack of the Hai Chen controller, he can devour and weaken it, and the Hai Chen controller can't hurt him at all. Didn't you just break through to the second realm level controller, let you know the power of the third realm level controller. Hai Chen's controller took action, holding a spear that controlled the world soldier, and attacked Yi Tian. Chapter 1871 My uncle is here, why did my uncle hit me? A blow from the Hai Chen controller hit Yi Tian. Yi Tian wanted to dodge, but his speed was not enough, so he couldn't dodge in time. However, after this blow stabbed Yi Tian, the damage was directly offset, and if the secret of life was added, Yi Tian was not injured but only retreated some distance. Fine, the Hai Chen controller was shocked. It's my turn. Yi Tian said coldly. Flame explosion. Yi Tian fully exerted this source control technique. Layers of time and space exploded, but Hai Chen's controller was free from layers of time and space, and his whole body was protected by a golden light. No matter how powerful the fire explosion was, he couldn't hurt Hai Chen's controller. Defense-type origin control skills. Yi Tian recognized it. With defense-type source control skills, he can't hurt Hai Chen's master. However, Hai Chen's controller couldn't hurt him either. Boom. The war continues. Time passed slowly, and the fight between Yi Tian and Hai Chen controller gradually attracted the attention of other controllers. After all, the fight between the 2 second-level controllers and the 3rd-level controllers was too wide, and even the nearby Eternal Realm was affected, and some nearby giant cities were naturally also affected. Soon, some Eternal controllers came here to spy on the fighting here. It's the master of Hai Chen. The other one seems to be the 2nd-level controller, and he can actually fight against the 3rd-level controller Hai Chen, who is the controller. How is this possible? The 2nd realm level represents weak combat power. Look carefully, the attack power, speed, and reaction of the Hai Chen controller are faster than this controller, and the attack of this 2nd-level controller is only the attack strength of the normal 2nd-level controller, but he can offset the C level. The attack of the morning controller can even be said to ignore the attack of the Hai Chen controller. Who is this 2nd-level controller? Many Eternal Masters are very curious about Yi Tian's identity. But the investigation speed of the Eternal controller was very fast, and Yi Tian's identity was dug out in a short while. He is the endless controller of the number 13 boundary river. He has been to the number 7 boundary river before and devoured a mountain of devouring. 1. What? The mountain of swallowing, isn't this thing the ancestor of the swallowing stream, and the Eternal controller swallowed it? Although it is unbelievable, the information obtained is indeed true. Now it seems that after he devoured the mountain of devouring, he gained the ability to devour the attack of the mountain of devouring, so the Hai Chen controller cannot hurt the endless controller. This is too terrifying. With the ability of the swallowing mountain to swallow the attack, it is equivalent to ignoring the attack, even the 4-level controller can't kill him. It is said that he is the senior brother of the master of Yan Yan. The master of Yan Yan is the registered disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor, and his status is ordinary. If this endless controller is the official disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor, his status is indeed very noble. There is a high probability of being an official disciple. Perhaps this secret technique that can devour the mountain of devouring comes from the 10 Elements ancestors. No, if this goes on, I will run out of strength. Hai Chen controller secretly said. The power of the source control technique is indeed terrifying, but it also consumes a lot of power. But now that the battle has come, he can see that Yi Tian has hardly lost any power, and seems to have absorbed his attack as energy. His own strength is not consumed, and the opponent's life level is too high, and the combat power is endless. If you can't hurt the other party hasn't consumed it yet. If he continued to fight for a long time, he might be defeated. If a 3-level controller is defeated by a 2nd-level controller, then he will definitely become famous, and it is a way to lose face and become famous. I have to ask Uncle Guangming for help. Haichin controller decided. As for his father, he had already gone to a mysterious place and could not be contacted for the time being. Uncle Guangming, I'm in trouble, come quickly. Haichin controller communicated. His uncle Guangming is the controller of the 7 realms, and his prestige is no less than that of the controller of Guishan. If the light controller comes, what is Yi Tian, who can be pinched to death with only one hand? Of course, his uncle Guangming would not necessarily kill Yi Tian, but he would definitely teach him a lesson. After the communication, soon, time and space were distorted, and a figure emerged. Uncle Guangming, it is this person who opposes me. The Haichin controller flashed and came to the bright controller and said. Immediately, he glanced at Yi Tian, his eyes seemed to say, Yi Tian, you are dead. The bright controller looked at Yi Tian, and immediately slapped the Haichin controller on the face, directly fanning the Haichin controller and flying out. Along the way, the Haichin controller also smashed layers of time and space. The power of this blow is very strong. If it were an ordinary controller, it would have been killed by a slap. This one is also something you can offend. The Master of Light questioned the Master of Haichin. At this time, the controller of Haichin was very stunned, and didn't know why the controller of Light wanted to beat him. I saw the light controller walked in front of Yi Tian and said respectfully, Guangming has seen senior brother Yi. The light controller, it turns out to be you, long time no see. Yi Tian smiled. He naturally thinks that the Master of Light is one of the official disciples of the 10 Elements ancestors. At the beginning, when Yi Tian became a direct disciple, the other 4 direct disciples of Xixing ancestor and many formal disciples came to congratulate him. And one of them is the bright controller, but after that, he has never seen the bright controller. Senior brother Yi, my nephew is reckless, please forgive me, said the bright controller. Yi Tian said, I didn't offend your nephew. When he saw that I exchanged a golden crow blood fruit from Tuda, he wanted to forcibly buy it, but if I didn't buy it, he would take action against me. Say, how do you deal with this? Nuo Hao Jiao, the bright controller knows that his nephew has indeed gone too far. If it were an ordinary person, it would be fine, and he even offended the 5th direct descendant of the 10 Xing ancestors. This 5th personal biography, it didn't take long for him to become the eternal controller, and that time was the time when he took a nap, and he had already become the 2nd level controller. How terrifying the speed of cultivation. In the future, this person is bound to become a 9 realm level controller, and he is far from dare to offend. Senior brother Yi, I will imprison the 100 million Jie-year envoys who are in charge of Haichin. The light controller said, Uncle Guangming don't want it, 100 million years of the river is too long. Haichin controller cried, so be it, Yi Tian said lightly. At this time, the bright controller condensed a bare hand, crossed time and space, grabbed the Haichin controller, and immediately sealed it away. And all around, the eternal masters who were watching were all stunned. Chapter 1872. How did he synthesize one treasure box after another? Haichin's controller is miserable. He was sealed and imprisoned for 100 million years. With his temperament, I'm afraid he will be crazy. This is not miserable, this is good luck. If he offends the eternal controller with a terrifying background, the Haichin controller will be even worse, and maybe he will fall directly. Brother of the Master of Light. Senior brother of the bright controller, doesn't this mean that this is the 5th direct disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor? Oh my god, Xixing ancestor actually accepted a 5th direct disciple. No news came out before. 1. The 10 Elements ancestor has always been low-key, and apart from the disciples of the 10 Elements ancestor, other eternal controllers are naturally unclear. These eternal masters discussed, and Yi Tian left. Then, he came to Tongyang Mountain and entered Tongyang Mountain. At this time, many people knew that the eternal controller who controlled Tongyang Mountain was Yi Tian, but they also knew Yi Tian's background and identity, so naturally they did not dare to have any opinions. Tongyang Mountain. After Yi Tian regained control of this place with his own copy body, he continued to comprehend the Fire Boundary River Monument here. Although the Fire Boundary River Monument did not help him much, at least it was much faster than cultivating alone. Time passed, and finally after 10,000 years, Yi Tian came to Tuda again. He can continue to enter the fog exploration time and space, so he spent the ticket fee of a key fragment to enter the fog exploration time and space again. 937 this time, he found that the number of key fragments seemed to be much less than the previous time. It was estimated that Tuda was slow to replenish the treasure chest. After all, he found a large number of key fragments from here 10,000 years ago. Not all of them are completely replenished now, so if he looks for key fragments, he will definitely not have as many as before. However, compared to other Eternal Masters, the key fragments he found were terrifying enough. After a period of time, Yi Tian came out of the fog exploration time and space. It's a pity that I didn't find the number 1 and number 2 key fragments this time, so I couldn't get a small key together. You can't synthesize small keys, first use some consecutive keys to synthesize small treasure boxes and large treasure boxes. Although some of the resources you open are not as good as the golden crow blood fruit, they are quite good and can improve your strength a little bit. So, Yi Tian came to Tuda's exchange office. Here, there is a place that can be dedicated to the chained key crafting box. Treasure box synthesis table. Yi Tian came here and started to synthesize the consecutive keys. At this time, some Eternal Masters noticed Yi Tian. It's the Endless Controller. He stood on the treasure box synthesis table. It seems that he has obtained the serial key and wants to synthesize the treasure box. Oh my god, he's so lucky. Not long after he came to Tuchong, he synthesized a small key, CJFI, exchanged for the golden crow blood fruit, and now he has to synthesize a treasure box. Even if it is a small treasure box, it is enough. It's enviable. Curious that the treasure chest synthesized by the Endless Master will open treasures. Soon, Yi Tian placed 36 consecutive keys on the treasure box synthesis table. Synthesis. 36 consecutive keys were shrouded in light on the treasure box synthesis table and quickly turned into a treasure box. Yi Tian took this treasure box and opened it. A treasure floated out. It's a low-ranking soldier in control of the world. Shouted the Eternal Master. It is really good to control the world soldiers, but the lower-level control of the world soldiers is only of great use to the first and second domain-level controllers, and it is naturally of little value to the second world-level controllers like Yi Tian. For many eternal controllers present, it is indeed very common for the lower-ranked soldiers to control the world. The unlimited controller's luck is not very good this time, only the lower-ranked world-controlling soldiers were opened, and a small treasure box was wasted. A first world-level controller said. But at this moment, Yi Tian took out another 36 consecutive keys. What? The Endless Master actually gathered a set of 36 consecutive keys. The Eternal Masters around were stunned. What luck! You must know that many Eternal Masters have lived in the city for countless years, and they have no way to collect 36 consecutive keys. The key fragments are mainly integers of high value and few in number, so they will not be sold. Those shops sell ordinary key fragments, so ordinary Eternal Masters have no way to collect 36 consecutive key fragments, and there is no way to combine them into a small treasure box. As for Yi Tian, he had already collected 2 small treasure boxes. The small treasure box was synthesized, and Yi Tian opened it again. I saw a treasure emerge, a grass exuding golden lightning. It's the golden flame thunder grass. It can temper the will, and the value is not bad, but it's not a very good treasure. It belongs to the middle to higher range among the treasures opened in the small treasure box. An Eternal Master said. Everyone thought that the journey of opening the treasure box of the Endless Master would end like this, but who knew that Yi Tian took out 36 keys again? Question mark, question mark, question mark. The Eternal Controller is stunned. What is the situation? Yi Tian still has 36 consecutive key fragments. Soon, Yi Tian opened the third treasure box. The treasure in the third treasure box is even better than the golden flame and thunder grass. It is Yongyang fire liquid, which can temper the body of control. Although it is far inferior to the golden crow blood fruit, the effect is still good, and it is good for the 7th level controller. Quenching effect. The Endless Controller has gathered 3 small treasure boxes. There should be no more. If there are any more, he is undoubtedly a relative of the old man in Guishan. An Eternal Controller said. At this moment, Yi Tian took out 72 key fragments and placed them on the treasure box synthesis table. A big treasure box appeared. This is the big treasure box. My god, the big treasure box has to collect 72 consecutive key fragments. The difficulty is second only to the small keys. They were completely dumbfounded. Indeed, Yi Tian did not gather the 4th small treasure box, but he did gather a big treasure box. Immediately, everyone is looking forward to what this big treasure box can open. They have not seen an eternal master open a big treasure box for a long time, so they are looking forward to it. Click. The big treasure box opened. A golden dot appeared. This golden dot seemed to be light, not like an object, but also seemed to be a special kind of energy. Some eternal masters looked at the golden dot and did not recognize it. But there was still an eternal controller who knew the goods, and exclaimed on the spot, "Oh my god, this is the golden light of doomsday. It is said that it is a ray of golden light of doom that can only be born after the destruction of the eternal realm, and only 10 strands of golden light of doom can be combined into one. A doomsday golden light pearl. This seems to be a point, but it is actually a tiny bead to the limit. What a long time it takes for the eternal realm to be destroyed, and once an eternal controller is born, the eternal realm is almost impossible. Destruction. Only the eternal master has never been born, and the cultivation and improvement are not perfect. This will slowly decline, and finally usher in the day of destruction. Such an eternal realm is too rare. How can the big treasure box open such treasures? Strictly speaking, the big treasure box can open any treasure, and it is normal to open the doomsday golden pearl. What is surprising is that the old man of Kamiyama actually has the doomsday golden pearl. He collected at least 10 eternal realms and destroyed the birth of the apocalypse. Golden light. What a long time it takes to collect it. 1. It's not necessarily collected by the old man of Kamiyama, it may have been obtained by accident. These eternal masters are envious at this time. And Yitian is also very surprised. He actually opened up such treasures. This time is really good luck. Chapter 1873 finally found the number 1 key fragment. Doomsday Golden Pearl is very useful, it can greatly improve the will, and it can also permanently improve a part of the understanding. It can be said that a Doomsday Golden Light Pearl is enough to change the aptitude and perception of an eternal controller, which is equivalent to changing the future. Everyone wants to collect the Doomsday Golden Light, but collecting the Doomsday Golden Light is not so easy. It is almost impossible to collect the Doomsday Golden Light without the strength above the 6th realm level, and want to snatch the Doomsday Golden Light from the hands of a 6 or 7 realm level controller, it is also very difficult. As for the 8 realms level controllers, these existences no longer care about the golden light of the end. At this time, everyone looked at Yitian with envy. This is the golden light pearl of doomsday that even the 5th or 6th realm level controller needs, and for individuals, its value is no less than a monument of a realm. Of course, for a faction, it is not as good as the Jihei monument. After all, the Jihei tablet can enlighten many eternal controllers, while the golden pearl of doom is only suitable for refining by one eternal controller. Perhaps it is because of this that Doomsday Golden Pearl appears in the big treasure box. Yitian accepted the Doomsday Golden Light Pearl, and then under the stunned gazes of many eternal masters, he took out 72 consecutive keys, and synthesized a big treasure box again. How does the Endless Master still have a serial key? They were stunned. Immediately, Yitian opened the big treasure box again, and the reward this time was a mid-ranking soldier. After that, one large treasure box was synthesized by Yitian, and the other eternal controllers were shocked and numb, only staring at Yitian and kept opening the treasure box. In the end, Yitian opened more than a dozen large treasure boxes, and this ended the journey of opening the treasure box. Soon, the news that Yitian opened more than a dozen large treasure boxes and several small treasure boxes in Tuta was passed out, and all the eternal controllers were immediately stunned and did not believe this rumor. However, many controllers say so, and they have to believe it. The source boundary C, somewhere. When Shui Nu heard the news about Tucheng, she was a little surprised. My little junior brother is really amazing. I won Tongyang Mountain before, and now I have obtained so many key fragments in Tucheng. I have gathered a small key and synthesized several small treasure boxes and more than a dozen key pieces. A big treasure box, what luck are you waiting for? Shui Nu felt that her junior brother was very lucky. After all, she had to rely on luck to obtain key fragments in Tucheng. Although she doesn't look down on the things of the old man of Guishan, but if her little junior brother gets enough good things from the old man of Guishan, the increase in strength will not be slow. Afterwards, Shui Nu did not continue to pay attention. After all, at her level, this little thing can't disturb her. If there is anything about her junior brother Yitian, she will not know a little bit. Tongyang Mountain. Yitian came back here again, and then began to refine the Doomsday Golden Pearl. This thing is of great help to him, and naturally he needs to refine it as soon as possible. I saw Yitian swallow the golden light point of Doomsday Golden Pearl in one bite, and then began to refine it with all his strength. With the passage of time, the Doomsday Golden Light beads were gradually devoured and refined by Yitian, madly enhancing Yitian's will and improving his understanding. Just when the doomsday golden light beads were about to be exhausted, Yi Tian's will broke through. Boom! The shackles from the middle stage to the late stage of the ninth order were broken, and Yi Tian's will suddenly soared, directly entering the late stage of the ninth order. The will has been raised to the late ninth order, great! Yi Tian was extremely excited. He has always wanted to break the shackles of his own will, but he failed, and now he has finally broken the shackles with the help of the golden doomsday beads, and has been promoted to the late ninth order. Moreover, as his will was broken, he was infinitely close to the strength of a 3-realm level controller. If he comprehends another source control technique, he will definitely reach the realm of the 3 realms level controller. Yes, I was lucky this time, and I got the doomsday golden pearl. The next step is to keep licking wool until Tuta doesn't help me. In the following years, Yi Tian went to the fog to explore time and space every 10,000 years to find treasure chests to obtain key fragments. Although the key fragments collected each time will be less, but the more times, the collected key fragments will naturally be a lot. Now, Yi Tian only needs the number 1 key fragment, and he can immediately synthesize the real key. At the same time, he also often synthesized small treasure boxes and large treasure boxes, and obtained a lot of treasure resources. For flowers, under the continuous accumulation, Yi Tian's strength continued to improve. Finally, on this day, he refined some treasures that would help improve the body of control, and pushed his body from the 7th level control body to the peak level of the 7th level control body, thus breaking the shackles of strength. Because of this, he jumped into the 3 realms level controller level. This day, Yi Tian entered the fog exploration time and space again. This time his luck was overwhelming, and it didn't take long to find the number 1 key fragment. Ha ha ha, I finally got all the key fragments needed for the key, and I can synthesize the real key. Yi Tian said excitedly. He was not in a hurry to go out, and stayed until he was moved out by the missed adventure time and space. Subsequently, he immediately came to Tuta's exchange office and began to synthesize a key. 365 key fragments gathered together to form a special key, which was the real key. When the keys were synthesized, everyone was stunned. The endless controller has synthesized the real key. A controller exclaimed. Then, an eternal master who was shocked many times said indifferently, I'm used to it, if it were other people, we would be shocked. As for the eternal master, what's surprising about him synthesizing the real key? Soon, Yi Tian used this key to exchange for a boundary river monument from the Tuta exchange office. I want to exchange the space boundary river monument. Yi Tian said, because there is also a space boundary river tablet in the map, so he can be exchanged. But after he exchanged it, other people here would not be able to exchange for the space boundary river monument. The space boundary river monument shrank and fell into Yi Tian's palm like a small toy. It's still a complete space boundary river monument. Yi Tian was a little surprised. The boundary river monument in Tongyang Mountain has a little defect, and this boundary river monument is complete and not damaged at all. After obtaining this boundary river monument, Yi Tian left immediately and brought it to Tongyang Mountain. Chapter 1874 4 Origin Control Skills, the Master of the 4 Realms. When Tongyang Mountain Artifact Spirit saw Yi Tian brought back a space boundary river monument, he was immediately surprised. This new owner is really amazing, and he has obtained another boundary river monument so quickly. Artifact Spirit Dark Road. His former master, the master of Tongyang, only obtained such a boundary river monument in his life, and it is impossible to obtain a second relatively complete boundary river monument, and Yi Tian obtained another space boundary river monument in a short period of time, and it is a very complete space boundary monument. What's more, the new master's strength is improving too fast. When he saw Yi Tian for the first time, he was only an 8th level controller, but now he is a 3-level controller. At such a speed, wouldn't it be long before he surpassed the strength of the former master, Tongyang's controller, the 5 world level controller? My new master is too enchanting. Tongyang Mountains, 9 Sanchi, Spirit Road. Yi Tian did not know the mental activities of the spirits, so he placed this space boundary river monument in Tongyang Pagoda, and then began to comprehend this space boundary river monument. In the days that followed, he began to master various changes in the way of space. With the passage of time, Yi Tian has mastered all kinds of changes in the way of space. Soon, the 10,000 world river years passed. At this time, Yi Tian had only mastered tens of thousands of changes, and he was still a long way from creating the source control technique. This day, Yi Tian came to Tuta again, and he wanted to enter the fog exploration time and space again. In this way, Yi Tian kept going back and forth between Tuda and Tongyang Mountain, synthesizing some treasure boxes from time to time to give out some resource rewards to improve his strength. Gradually, the years of the 200,000 realm river passed. At this time, Yi Tian has mastered the millions of changes in the way of space, and can completely create a source control technique based on the way of space. Of course, he did not stop, but continued to create. Although it took a long time to continue to master more spatial path changes, and the difficulty was getting bigger and bigger, but Yi Tian wanted to create a slightly stronger source control technique, so he would rather spend more time. 300,000 world river years. 500,000 years of the river. In the 600,000th year of the Boundary River, Yi Tian was lucky, and synthesized a key in Tuda, and exchanged it for a Boundary River monument again. This time, the Jehei monument he exchanged was a defensive Jehei monument, but it was not complete, with a small gap, but he was satisfied. 1 million years later, Tongyang Mountain finally mastered the 2 million changes in the way of space. I didn't expect that it only doubled the changes, but it took 5 times more time. Want to master 10 million changes or even 100 million changes, how much is this? Difficult. Yi Tian muttered. Therefore, it is really too difficult to reach the level of a 7-level controller or higher. After that, Yi Tian focused on the way of space, trying to create a second source control technique. This time, the power of the source control technique he wants to create will naturally be stronger, so it will be more difficult and will naturally take longer. In the blink of an eye, it took him nearly 200,000 years to finally create the second source control technique. Tongyang Mountain, a time and space where moves are tested. Here, Yi Tian used the original source control technique he just created, air shock. Boom, the space oscillated, and after the moment of stagnation, the time and space shattered instantly and turned into nothingness. The terrifying source control skill is more terrifying than the flame explosion, and the air shock can also block the enemy's escape. From the air shock, the source control skill can also be extended to use various spaces. Yi Tian murmured. After creating the air shock, his strength has improved a lot again, but he still has not reached the combat power of the 4 realms level controller. It is still very difficult to become a 4 realm level controller. Next, Yi Tian controlled the changes in the way of specializing in defense, and then tried to create a defense type origin control technique. In fact, many changes in the way of space, the way of defense, and the way of fire can be combined to form the defense source control technique. However, Yi Tian needs time to study and create slowly, which is not urgent. After creating the air shock, Yi Tian's luck seemed to be good. Not long after that, he found another key fragment of number 1 in the fog exploration time and space, and synthesized a key again. This time, he exchanged a Thunder Boundary River monument from the Tuda. In the following years, Yi Tian continued to lick the wool like this, but he never got the number 1 key fragment again. It is estimated that the number 1 key fragments are scattered in each level, and it is impossible to have all the number 1 fragments in the fog exploration time and space. Therefore, it is almost impossible for Yi Tian to use the fog to explore time and space to take away all the number 1 key fragments. Of course, he can collect small keys and some large and small treasure boxes, which is still possible. In the next few million years, Yi Tian created the third source control technique, Tian Yushan. Once the heavenly body is used, Yi Tian's body surface will form an indestructible shield golden light, which can resist attacks of the same level. A few million years later, Yi Tian once again created the fourth source control technique, Lei Body 9 Flashes, which is a source control technique for enhancing speed and dodging, which can make up for Yi Tian's weakness in speed and movement. The increase of the 4 source control skills directly made Yi Tian step into the realm of the 4 world level controller, but he almost exhausted his spiritual light, and there is no way to create a 5th source control technology in a short period of time. Certainly, Yi Tian is also very excited to be promoted to the 4 realm level controller this time. Next, if he wants to attack the 5 level controller, he must make a breakthrough in the control body. For example, if he upgrades to the 8th level control body, his strength will inevitably skyrocket. However, it is as difficult as a heaven-defying move for a 7th level control body to upgrade to an 8th level control body. He also used the small key to exchange a lot of treasures from Tuda to help improve the body of control, but 5.8 has no way to break the shackles. It's almost enough for Tuda to lick the wool, and if we continue to talk, we can hope to improve our strength. Yi Tian thought. At this time, the locations given by the 4th senior sister are useless, and what he lacks now is not the issue of 1 Jehei monument and 2 Jehei monuments. Immediately, he collected the information of the source boundary sea and various restricted areas, so as to understand the situation and see if he could gain anything. However, the harvest is not big, and where there is a chance, everyone wants it. Where can it be his turn? Moreover, even if there is a big chance, people will not leak it, and most of the opportunities that can be leaked are taken away by others. This day, the Yan Yan controller has come to Yi. Chapter 1875. The help of the Yan Yan controller. I've seen senior brother Yi. The Yan Yan controller came to Tongyang Mountain to visit Yi. Junior brother Yan Yan, welcome to my Tongyang Mountain as a guest. Yi invited the master of Yan Yan to enter Tongyang Mountain and entertained him. Senior brother Yi, I didn't expect that in such a short period of time, the senior brother has already reached the level of the 4-level controller, and I am still the 7-level controller. The Yan Yan controller exclaimed in shock. Just luck, Yi said lightly. He didn't say too much, he couldn't brag about his talent. The Yan Yan controller did not ask for stimulation, and immediately stated the purpose of his visit this time. Senior brother Yi, I'm here to ask for help this time, but this matter is also good for senior brother. The Yan Yan controller said. Oh, what is it? Yi asked curiously. The Yan Yan controller said. Senior brother Yi, I found a ruin, but my strength is not enough, so I can't go deep. Moreover, we can only bring one more person in. Could it be that there are other eternal masters? Yi asked. The Yan Yan controller nodded. There is also a master 29th brother, who is also the named disciple of the master. Brother Yi should know that he is also an eternal controller of the 13th realm, the half-tooth controller. The half-tooth controller, it turns out to be him. Yi is naturally familiar with the Banya master. He can become the direct disciple of the 10 elements ancestor, and it is thanks to the Banya master that he would not have had such an opportunity. However, the half-tooth master never came to him for help. The Yan Yan controller said again, Senior brother Yi, that relic is likely to be a secret cave paradise for the controller above the 6th realm level, but the eternal controller should have died unexpectedly. We have obtained a piece of his cave dwelling. We can only enter the key, but cannot decipher the magic circle, and there are many killing circles and traps there. Before, we were trapped for a long time, and we finally escaped by using special treasures. This time, we are going to go again, but after entering with our strength, we still can't get income, and we may even be trapped again. And our relationship with other disciples of Xixing ancestor is normal, please don't move. A great helper. Moreover, we are also afraid that they will take our chance, and senior brother Yi is a direct disciple of the master, so naturally he will not care about this chance. That is why we have come to ask senior brother Yi to help. Junior brother Yan Yan, I said before that if you have something to ask me for help, I will naturally help if I can. This time I agreed. Yi said, thank you, brother Yi. The Yan Yan controller said gratefully. Soon after, the half-tooth master came. Junior brother Banya, long time no see. Yi smiled. Senior brother Yi. The half-tooth controller was full of emotion. Although many years have passed, Yi the incomparably weak and inexhaustible controller in his eyes at the beginning, was also mentioned by him, but now he has grown to the controller of the 4 realms, and he is an existence he has to look up to. Once upon a time, he did not expect Yi to possess such an enchanting talent. At the beginning, he did not think that Yi could become the direct disciple of the 10 elements ancestor. At most, he thought that Yi like him, could become a named disciple of the 10 elements ancestor, level above the controller. But who knew that Yi really became the direct disciple of the 10 elements ancestor, and the growth rate was even more astonishing, breaking his cognition. With this kind of talent, there may be hope to become a 10-realm level controller in the future. Junior brother Banya, junior brother Yan Yan, let's go. Yi said. The half-tooth controller and the Yan Yan controller nodded slightly. Immediately, the two of them took Yi to know. 31 Jhe. Senior brother Yi, that relic is not in the source realm sea, but in the 31 realm river. The Banya controller introduced. Soon after, they came to the 31st boundary river. This time, they sneaked in, hiding their breath, so as not to be tracked by other eternal masters. After all, the location of the ruins is still top secret, and no one knows. Even if they were known, they couldn't get in without the key, but they didn't want to reveal the location there. After a while, the 3 of them arrived. It's here. The half-tooth controller pointed to an island road. This is a very common island in the boundary river, and there is a formation on this island with sparse buildings. This place has been occupied by me. When other eternal controllers come here, they will only think that this is the temporary residence of an eternal controller and will not deliberately probe. The half-toothed controller said. An eternal master will have many residences. For example, some eternal masters have residences in caves among the 33 boundary rivers, and there are even many residences in the source boundary sea. Thus, it is common for an eternal master to occupy an island as a temporary residence, and no one doubts it. And the peak legendary realm lord whose strength has not reached the eternal controller can't see this island at all. Yi Tian entered the island with the Banya master and the Yan Yan master, and at this time, Yi Tian carefully observed the void. He understood the changes of 2 million ways of space, so the subtle changes here will be seen by him. Through the slightest changes in the space here, he was able to quickly lock the position of the ruins. This location, Yi Tian ripped apart the time and space with one hand, revealing a dark space, the 937th hole, and a cave and a blessed land was hidden there. Senior brother Yi is really amazing, he just found the ruins. The Yan Yan controller praised. Stop bragging about me, let's go in. Yi Tian urged. Yes, the Yan Yan controller took out the key and opened the magic circle of this relic. The three were wrapped in keys and entered this paradise. The magic circle here is not simple. It may not be the heavenly paradise of the 6th realm level controller, but it is most likely a secret cave of the 7th realm level controller. Yi Tian speculated. If it is really the secret cave house of the 7 realms level controller, then there is very likely some good things here. At this time, they were in the periphery of this cave, and there were many traces of destruction here. It was obviously done by the Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller. The surrounding areas were all patronized by them, so there was nothing good. Soon, they came to a place outside the circle, and this was the only way to go. Senior brother Yi, we entered this circle and were trapped by the circle for hundreds of billions of years. The half-toothed controller said. After such a long time, it was even rumored that he had fallen. The Yan Yan controller added. Senior brother Yi, although we are trapped, this magic circle protects a good place, otherwise we would have used the secret treasure to escape, and we would not be willing to be trapped like that. Long. Chapter 1876 Break through the sky and kill the layers, and the sculpture of Wanxiang appears. Where is the magic circle? Yi Tian was a little curious. The Yan Yan controller introduced. Senior brother Yi, there is a world in the magic circle, and in this world there is a black tree. This black tree can slowly improve our will, and every 10 million world rivers grows a black tree. A black fruit will be born in 2010. After swallowing this black fruit, our understanding can be temporarily improved a lot, so we have been practicing in the world of the magic circle, and we are not in a hurry to go out. Say, this black tree is not worth much. Aren't you thinking of moving this black tree away? Yi Tian asked. The half-toothed controller said. We tried, but there is no way to remove it, and there is no way to take away any items in that world. This is a limitation of the magic circle. Unless the magic circle can be broken, there is hope to take away the black tree. In addition, there are many creatures in the world of the magic circle. These creatures think that this world is the only world, but in fact it is just a world built by the magic circle. 1 foot. Let's go in, Yi Tian said. Yi Tian, Banya master and Yan Yan master entered this magic circle world. Black tree world. The 3 Yi Tian came here, and immediately felt the suppression of this world of magic circles. At this time, the Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller cannot get out by normal methods, unless they use secret treasures to go out, but they have few such secret treasures. Senior brother Yi, we can't get out now, and we can't break the formation here. We can only rely on you, senior brother. The half-toothed controller said. Let me spy on the rules of this magic circle world, basically similar to this magic circle world. The rules here should be created by the controller himself, so you must understand the situation of this magic circle world before you can know this. The rules of the world. 2 brothers and sisters, you should have the cultivation system in this world, please show me. Yi Tian said. Have. The Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller immediately gave Yi Tian a bunch of cultivation techniques. Yi Tian looked at it, studied it again, and then comprehended the rules of this magic circle world, and gradually gained some insight. Interesting, it's not difficult to break through this formation world, but I need about 10,000 years of the river. Yi Tian said with an estimate. 10,000 boundary years, so fast. The Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller were extremely surprised. This speed was too fast. The 2 of them worked together to comprehend hundreds of billions of world river years. This comparison is so shocking. Time passed slowly, and before you knew it, 10,000 years of river years passed. This day, Yi Tian said to the Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller, "Two junior brothers, I have already understood the rules of this world, and I can break through this formation world and leave. In addition, I have a way to take that black tree away. As a reward, how about that black tree? Senior brother Yi, that black tree is of no use to us. Senior brother, if you want, take it away." The Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller immediately said. They don't need that black tree. If they can break through this formation world, they can go deep into this cave, and maybe they can find better opportunities to improve their strength. Yi Tian wants that black tree, naturally not for himself. This black tree is of great value. It is an extremely precious treasure for ordinary eternal controllers. He plans to bring it into the void area and leave it to the human race as the sacred tree of the town. In this way, the human race will cultivate many strong men and geniuses, and the number of eternal masters born in the future may be much more. Soon, Yi Tian came to the black tree. At this time, there are a large number of black tree world powerhouses here to comprehend. Among them there are 2 half-step eternal controllers, and the others are peak legend realm lords. At this time, Yi Tian imitated the rules of this world and shot. Boom! A pair of big black hands grabbed the black tree, and the huge black tree was uprooted. Immediately, Yi Tian was about to take Heishu away. The black tree world rules wanted to suppress Yi Tian, but Yi Tian had already understood the rules of this world, and easily shattered the rules of the world, and left with the Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller. "No, our divine tree!" The countless creatures in the black tree world cried and shouted, but Yi Tian couldn't hear it. Just after leaving the black tree world, Yi Tian, the Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller fell into a killing formation. Boom! The black thunder dragons came, and the power of each thunder dragon was comparable to the full strength strike of the 9 domain level controller. At this time, Yi Tian waved his hand, and the thunder dragons collapsed. This circle is a pure attack circle, so the changes of the circle are simple. As long as it resists the attack of the killing circle, you can quickly find out the many changes of the circle and then tear out a passage to leave. The Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller did not dare to move, so Yi Tian could only protect them and resist these thunder dragon attacks. Fortunately, I found senior brother Yi, otherwise even if the 2 of us were lucky enough to break through the magic circle of the black tree world, once we entered this place, we would have fallen instantly. The half-toothed controller sighed. Yeah, senior brother Yi is still amazing. The Yan Yan controller nodded. Time passed slowly, and after a long time, Yi Tian finally understood the many changes in this killing formation. Open! Yi Tian smashed a corner of the killing formation with one blow, tore a crack, pulled the Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller, and rushed Nuo Haojiao out of the killing formation. At this time, they fell into another killing formation. It has to be said that the owner here does not like to be disturbed by anyone, so he arranged a series of formations. However, since no one was in charge of the killing formation, the formidable power of the killing formation was not very strong. If the master was still there, Yi Tian would not be able to stop the killing formation here. Under Yi Tian's invasion, the killing formations were smashed by him one after another. Finally on this day, Yi Tian took the Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller through many killing formations and came to a majestic and simple hall. And here, there is a black sculpture placed here. Seeing this sculpture, the Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller screamed in unison. Haitsu's Wanxiang statue. They were shocked that there was actually a statue of Wanxiang here, which completely exceeded their expectations, and immediately they were extremely excited. Chapter 1877. Could this heavenly paradise belong to Haitsu? Black ancestor. Yi Tian had heard of Haitsu, but he didn't know much about it. He only knew that this was a 10-realm level controller, and his status in the Sea of Origin realm was very high, and it was almost a legend. But after all, his training time is short, and he is not as good as Yan Yan's masters, who have been practicing for a fraction of the time. To a certain extent, he is not as good as Yan Yan's masters for some secrets. For example, the statue of Wanxiang, he did not know. 2 brothers and sisters, what is the statue of Wanxiang? Yi Tian asked. The Banya controller resisted the excitement in his heart, looked at Yi Tian, and explained, Senior brother Yi, Haitsu is a 10-level powerhouse, and there are only a few 10-level controllers in the entire source realm. He is very famous. Haitsu is one of them. He is very mysterious, and his strength ranks among the top 10 realms. He has refined many Wanxiang statues, and each Wanxiang statue has a special. The effect contains billions of changes, and comprehension of the statue of Wanxiang helps us create the source control skills. But the most terrifying ability of the statue of Wanxiang is not this, but it is integrated into the body and bursts with terrifying power. Once there was a 6-realm level controller, relying on the Wanxiang statue, he killed a 7-realm level controller abruptly, shocking the source realm C. But there are only 13 Wanxiang statues that have appeared. Moreover, Haitsu it has been suppressed and sealed by a terrifying great being, so every Wanxiang statue 937 will cause bloodshed once it appears. How come there is a statue of Wanxiang here? Yi Tian wondered. It stands to reason that such a noble treasure cannot be left here, and the owner here should take it away. Unless this is a secret cave of Haitsu, it is possible that there is a statue of Wanxiang. Senior brother Yi, is this heavenly blessed land owned by Haitsu? The half-toothed controller guessed. Maybe, Yi Tian said, but it's not necessarily the Haitsu at his peak, it's most likely the cave dwelling when he wasn't very strong. As for the statue of Wanxiang, it's not too precious for Haitsu, so it will be put here. There are rumors that Haitsu owned the statue of Wanxiang before he reached the 10th world level controller, so some controllers believe that Haitsu owned the statue of Wanxiang very early, and at that time he should not be qualified to refine it. Wanxiang statue, so the Wanxiang statue is not necessarily refined by him. It doesn't matter whether the Wanxiang statue is made by Haitsu, but there is a Wanxiang statue here for sure. Yi Tian said. The value of a statue of Wanxiang is many times higher than that of the Jihei monument, and it is far from being comparable to the Jihei monument. Even a 7-realm level controller like the old man of Kamiyama wants to snatch the statue of Wanxiang. Senior brother Yi, can this statue give us some insight into the years? The Yan Yan controller asked. The three of us found it together, and it is naturally divided equally. Let us comprehend this statue together. Yi Tian said. Immediately, they studied the omniscient statue and found that this omniscient statue contained many variations of various taos, but it could not be taken away. Yi Tian tried to take this myriad phase statue, but found that he couldn't take it away. This myriad phase statue was bound by layers, and it seemed that an incomparably powerful formation had locked this myriad phase statue here. Two junior brothers, I can't take the statue of Wanxiang for the time being. At least I have to wait for my 6th realm level controller before I can hope to crack the magic circle here and take this statue of Wanxiang. Therefore, I can comprehend the statue of Wanxiang here. Yi Tian explained, it doesn't matter whether he has a duplicate body, so even if he has been comprehending here, he will not delay anything. But the Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller only have one real body. If they cultivate here, they will not be able to take care of the outside world. However, the two were not worried at all. Senior brother Yi, then keep comprehending here, it doesn't matter if we comprehend billions of years. The half-tooth master said. Subsequently, Yi Tian and the three looked around in this quaint hall, where there is a time and space for cultivation as well as a living area. Suddenly, Yi Tian and the others saw a planting time and space CJFI, where a very precious treasure was planted. Purple thunder heavenly crystal bamboo takes 100 million years to grow, and there are so many here. Yi Tian was slightly surprised. Apparently, the owner of this place had planted purple thunder sky crystal bamboo here many years ago, and planted a lot of them at one time. Purple thunder sky crystal bamboo is not too difficult to plant, but seedlings are difficult to obtain. Its value is equivalent to 1/10 of the price of purple thunder sky crystal bamboo, and only some powerhouses above the 7th realm level controller have the heart to plant it. Purple thunder celestial bamboo. The role of the purple thunder sky crystal bamboo is to attract thunder and quench the body, and the thunder power contained in the purple thunder sky crystal bamboo is enough to kill some eternal controllers, but it also contains a lot of vitality, which is suitable for tempering the body of the eternal controllers. And the older the purple thunder crystal bamboo, the better the effect, but the higher the strength requirements. However, the purple thunder sky crystal bamboo can only be useful to the 7th level control body at most, and it is of no use to the 8th level control body. And Yi Tian's body is still at the 7th level, so the purple thunder sky crystal bamboo is still very useful to him. The Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller were extremely excited, and their control body was even lower, only level 5. If they use the purple thunder sky crystal bamboo to induce lightning to quench their bodies, coupled with the statue of enlightenment, they will definitely hope to be promoted to the realm of controllers above the 1st realm level. Great opportunity, this is their biggest chance ever. Thank you, senior brother Yi. The Yan Yan controller and the Banya controller were very excited and thanked. Let's practice here in the future. I took a look. Except for these opportunities, the others are gone. Yi Tian said. The Yan Yan controller nodded. Immediately, Yi Tian came to a purple thunder heavenly crystal bamboo. This purple thunder heavenly crystal bamboo had grown for hundreds of millions of years, and the power it contained was terrifying. Yan Yan and Banya masters could not use this purple thunder. Heavenly crystal bamboo tempers its physique, otherwise it will definitely die. However, it suits Yi Tian. Immediately, Yi Tian used the thunder power of this purple thunder sky crystal bamboo to bombard his body under control, and tempered his body when he was bombarded by the power of thunder. There are some effects, but the effects can only be seen after a long time of tempering. I am afraid that it will take a long time before I can raise the body of control to the level of 8th. 1. Yi Tian muttered. In the following years, after he tempered the body of control here for a period of time, he went to comprehend the statue of Wanxiang. In this way, he went back and forth to understand and cultivate, and his strength was constantly improving. However, the ones with the greatest strength improvement are the Yan Yan controllers and the Banya fighters, because their strength is low, the rate of improvement is naturally the largest. Chapter 1878. The 10-line ancestor took the initiative to give the opportunity. Time flies, and a million years have passed. For such a long time, Yi Tian has been comprehending and practicing at the Wanxiang statue. He mainly comprehends the many changes in the way of time, and occasionally comprehends the many changes in the way of space. The hardships of the million years of the river have allowed him to master the many changes of more than 10 million ways of space and more than 10 million ways of time, while the changes of other ways have not been mastered much. After all, he is currently only concentrating on many changes in the way of space and time. In addition, Yi Tian continued to use the purple thunder sky crystal bamboo to temper his body of control, exhausting the power of the purple thunder sky crystal bamboo, and his control body was very close to the 8th level control body. But I have to admit that it is still very difficult to completely raise the body of control to level 8. This day, the strength of the half-tooth controller broke through, he became the 9-level controller, and the Yan Yan controller broke through to the 8-level controller. If they created a source control technique, it would naturally be an easy task to break through to become a world-level controller. However, even with the help of myriad statues, it would take a long time for them to create the source controller, which is the gap in understanding. Yi Tian's own aptitude for comprehension far exceeds them, and with the help of the secret of comprehension, Yi Tian can quickly comprehend the many changes in the Tao, and can quickly create the source control skills, but they can't do it, they must use lots of time to create slowly. After Yi Tian has mastered more than 10 million changes in the way of time and space, he is ready to combine time and space and many changes in other ways to create a more powerful source control technique. Although he couldn't create top-notch source control skills, stronger source control skills could still be created. Therefore, he will spend part of his time creating such a source control technique in the future. Before you know it, hundreds of thousands of years have passed. On this day, a powerful source control technique was finally created by Yi Tian. This origin control technique combines many changes in the way of time and the way of space, as well as many changes in the way of thunder, fire and other ways, and was named by him as the space-time cracking blade. The many changes of the way of time and space are condensed into a time-space blade, and then the speed of change of the way of thunder, coupled with the explosive force of the way of fire, cooperate with each other to tear the enemy's control body with one blow. It can be said that the power of this source control technique is at least 10 times that of pyroblast, but it consumes a lot. However, Yi Tian is not afraid of consumption. He devoured the Black Silence Sea, and the last thing he was afraid of was consumption, so he could use the space-time splitting blade indefinitely. With the creation of the space-time cracking blade, Yi Tian's strength has been infinitely close to that of a 5-level controller. As long as he raises his control body to the level of 8th, his strength will immediately break through to the 5-level controller, force. Then, in the days that followed, Yi Tian made every effort to improve his body of control. He stayed at the Purple Thunder Heavenly Crystal Bamboo, and at the same time urged the power of each of the Purple Thunder Heavenly Crystal Bamboos to temper his body of control. In this way, he tempered 100,000 years of the river, and finally broke through by luck. Boom! The body in control has been upgraded from the 7th level to the 8th level, the physical fitness has skyrocketed a lot, and the strength has also skyrocketed a lot, which directly makes Yi Tian's strength reach the top combat power of a 5-level controller. However, after reaching the 8th level control body, it would be useless for him to use the Purple Thunder Sky Crystal Bamboo. Pity, Yi Tian muttered. Right now, the Wanxiang statue is of great use to him, and the others are useless. Senior brother Yi has become the master of the 5 realms. The Banya master and the Yan Yan master were shocked at this time. How long has passed, Yi Tian has once again broken through a level. From the 4th realm level to the 5th realm level, it is more than 100 times more difficult than their breakthrough. They thought that their strength breakthrough speed was fast, but they didn't expect Yi Tian's breakthrough speed to be fast. Another period of time passed, and the Banya master took the lead in creating a very common source control technique, which could almost be regarded as the weakest source control technique, but it still allowed his strength to reach the level of a world-level master. In recent years, Yi Tian has been relatively low-key, so few people know that his strength has reached the 5 realms level controller. This day, Yi Tian took some purple thunder celestial bamboo and brought it back to the human race. For flowers, of course, he only took some very common purple thunder sky crystal bamboo. These common purple thunder sky crystal bamboo are useless to Yan controllers and Banya masters. And the human race has now given birth to a small number of eternal controllers, such as Yi Tian's family. Under his cultivation at all costs, they have recently entered the realm of eternal controllers. Therefore, these ordinary purple thunder crystal bamboos are also helpful to them. Therefore, Yi Tian will bring it back to the human race. In the following years, Yi Tian occasionally went to other places to see, not always on the side of the Wanxiang statue. After all, his strength could not skyrocket in a short period of time. It is still very difficult to upgrade from the strength of a 5-level controller to a 6th-level controller. Even with the Wanxiang statue, the difficulty is still very terrifying, and the time it takes is probably described as a billion years of rivers. This day, Yi Tian received a notice from Master, so he went to Wanyuan Mountain. At this time, Yi Tian's 4 brothers and sisters also came to Wanyuan Mountain, and those formal disciples also came. Obviously there are important things. Master. Many disciples respectfully greeted their master, the 10 Elements ancestors. It's all here. Shi Xingzu nodded lightly, and immediately said, it's a good thing to call you back this time. You often say that I don't give you a chance. Now, I'm going to give you a chance, but can you grasp it? It's up to you. Master, I also have a chance. The 3rd senior brother Hixi asked. His strength is very strong, except for a few great beings, he is almost invincible, and the chance to be useful to him is too rare. Have 10 ancestral ways. He Shu immediately became excited. He wanted to cross that step too much, but unfortunately he has not been able to cross that step. He has not made any progress for such a long time. It would be great if the opportunity bestowed by Shi Xing ancestor would help him break the shackles. Yi Tian is also very excited. After all, the 10 Elements ancestor took the initiative to give the opportunity, except when he was just apprentice, this was the first time. He was somewhat looking forward to what his chance would be. Chapter 1879 Slaughter the God Realm, Sharpen the Will with Slaughter. Soon, Shi Xing ancestor summoned each of his disciples individually and gave them the opportunity. And Yi Tian, as the 5th personal biography, was naturally the 5th one who was summoned in and gave him the chance alone. Master, Yi Tian said respectfully. Shi Xingzu glanced at Yi Tian and nodded slightly. It's not bad, he's already a 5-realm level controller, but it's not enough, he still needs to work hard. Yes, Master, Yi Tian nodded. The 10 Elements ancestor said again. The body you control now is the 8th level, and the will is the late 9th level. You can only slowly understand the changes in many ways. Therefore, if you want to improve your strength in a short period of time, you can only control it. The body and the will. Do you want to increase the will, or do you want to control the body? Yi Tian pondered for a while, then said, Master, I choose to improve my will. In terms of will and the body controlled by Ju Sanqi, the will is the most difficult to improve, and the body in control is better. Moreover, he is already an 8th level control body. If he devours a special life, he can even raise his control body to the 9th level. Therefore, he still chooses to improve his will. If you improve your will, I will give you this opportunity as a teacher. I saw Shi Xingzu took out a leaf. This leaf is full of killing breath, full of strange black, people feel very ominous. This is the slaughtering soul leaf, which was refined by me, and with this soul slaughtering leaf, you can enter the God slaughtering realm. 10 ancestral ways. Master, what is the God slaughter realm? Yi Tian asked curiously. Shi Xing ancestral road. The slaughtering God realm is a very special world. Generally, the eternal controller can't find the slaughtering God realm at all, nor can he enter it. The slaughtering God realm is located in the area between the 3rd and 4th realm rivers. Also known as Jasia, but Jasia is boundless, and it is the site of Jahe life, but the direction of Jasia near Jahe can still be identified, but the area farther from Jahe is very easy lost, even the life of Jahe will not easily go there. And in the vast and boundless world, there are also some treasures, and the realm of slaughtering gods is a special world. In the realm of slaughtering gods, the real body cannot enter, only the will of the soul can enter it. Once you enter the slaughtering god realm, you will recondense a physical body, which is equivalent to the physical body of an ordinary eternal controller. The slaughtering god realm contains only one way, and that is the way of slaughter. Here, no matter how much you master the changes of Tao, you can't show it here. Under the influence of the Tao of slaughter, the creatures who enter here will continue to fight, and the slaughter god realm also has endless life, always you can't finish the killing. Therefore, if you are killed, you can reunite your body. The same is true for you. If you are killed in the god slaughter realm, you can gather your body again and continue to fight and kill. Endless slaughter. Every time you kill a living being, you will absorb a wisp of killing rules into your body, use countless killing rules to sharpen your soul will, and use this method to enhance your willpower and finally break the shackles. 1 inch. There is such a place. Yi Tian was a little interested. He is not afraid of killing, and he can also sharpen himself in this way. So, he accepted Soul Killing Leaf. With the guidance of Soul Slaughter Leaf, you can find God Slaughter Realm. As for how to return to the Sea of Original Realm in the future, with your ability, you can naturally find it back. Shi Xing Ancestor said. Yi Tian nodded. He could not hide the fact that he had 2 real bodies from his master, the 10 Elements Ancestors. With 2 real bodies, he will not get lost in the depths of the world. After saying goodbye to the master, Yi Tian went to the boundary between the 3rd and 4th boundary rivers. Soon, Yi Tian came to the realm of the world here, and sensed the location of the god slaughtering realm through Soul Slaughtering Leaf. It's over there. Yi Tian kept shuttling, flying very far. At his speed, he flew a long distance, which shows how far the slaughter god realm is from the Jhe. After a long time, Yi Tian really came to the slaughtering god realm. It should be this location, but I can't perceive the existence of the slaughter god realm, and I can only know that the slaughter god realm is here through the Soul Slaughter Leaf. 1. Yi Tian muttered. Immediately, he urged Soul Slaughter Leaf to enter the God Slaughter realm. A force enveloped him, and his soul and will entered the God Slaughtering realm along the Soul Slaughtering Leaf, and his real body, like the God Slaughtering realm, was hidden, so there was no need to worry about the safety of the outside world. Kill the gods. Yi Tian came here. His soul will quickly reshape a body. This body is extremely weak. Compared with his body, it is too much weaker. Yi Tian has not yet been familiar with this physical body, and powerful creatures attacked. These creatures have strange shapes, but their bodies are full of killing aura, and some creatures have many arms, each of which is holding a weapon. The body structure is like a killing machine, showing terrifying power. Yi Tian subconsciously wanted to use the source control technique of Tianyu body, but found that it was activated. At this time, he remembered Master's reminder. The slaughtering god realm only contains the way of slaughter, and the other ways are suppressed, so the moves of other ways cannot be used. If the native land is here, one can also use the Tao carried by the body itself to perform various source control techniques. As long as the body energy is exhausted, it will not be affected. However, at this moment, he only entered the will of the soul, but not the body, so he had to abide by the rules here. Of course, Yi Tian responded very quickly. He also controls the way of killing, and naturally he also has the time and space control skills of the way of killing, so his combat power is still very strong. Killing fingers. Yi Tian pointed to and directly blasted all the creatures into the air. The actual 5.8 strength of these creatures is not weak, and they all have the strength of a domain-level controller, but they are still not Yi Tian's opponents. Kill the real body. Killing spear. The spear of Yi Tian, the main thing fights. But soon, a large number of creatures gathered here. Yi Tian's body does not contain endless power, so the power will be exhausted. He did not love to fight, he retreated while fighting. Soon, the first creature was killed by Yi Tian, and a special killing rule entered Yi Tian's body, sharpening his soul will. Of course, this killing rule is of little use. In the following years, Yi Tian continued to fight against these creatures, sharpening his will. Time passed slowly like this, and in a blink of an eye, 300,000 years of river years passed. Chapter 1880 60 million world river years, 6 world-level controllers. Kill the god somewhere. Yi Tian is fighting with a group of creatures. His body is full of terrifying killing aura. Every move and every style does not deliberately pursue time and space control skills, but it contains many changes in the way of killing, as if the many changes in the way of killing are completely apply it to every move. These killing moves are not time-space control skills, but they bring out the way of killing to the fullest, killing more creatures at the least cost, showing an extremely terrifying killing ability. In the endless slaughter, his will has been tempered to be extremely tenacious, as if the will has been tempered hundreds of millions of times. The will does not seem to have improved much, but in fact, the essence has improved, and the distance from the ninth order peak will is getting more and more near. Finally this day, Yi Tian finally completed the final tempering of his will in the slaughter with countless creatures. Boom! The will of the late ninth order finally broke the shackles and was promoted to the peak will of ninth order. At this moment, Yi Tian's perception of the outside world seems to have reached a level that spans time and space, and he can even sense various changes in various taos in the void, which he could not perceive before. At this moment, he can perceive the many changes in the way of slaughter in the slaughter god realm, the changes in the slaughter aura when each creature shoots, so as to know the future traces and power of each creature's shot, and how to avoid it. Puff puff. Yi Tian held the slaughtering spear and easily killed the slaughtering creatures one after another, using almost no power, and really did a good job of killing creatures with almost zero consumption. In other words, the consumption and recovery speed of his killing creatures are almost the same. Therefore, he can continue to fight forever, and this endless slaughtering creature can't help him. This kind of strength is no longer necessary to stay in the god slaughter realm, and there is no value for him to sharpen it here. The ninth order peak, compared with the late ninth order, is much more powerful. Yi Tian muttered. He clearly felt that his strength had crossed a level, but he was still a little short of the 6th realm level controller. I didn't expect that my will has risen to the peak of the ninth order, but my strength has not yet entered the realm of the 6th level controller. It is rumored that if you want to become the 7th level controller, you must create a top-notch source control technique. It seems that it is true, it is so. Yi Tian muttered. Time to go. Yi Tian left the god slaughter realm and returned to the outside world. The will of the soul returned to the real body, and there was a moment of discomfort, but it soon completely controlled the will of the soul. After all, as a 5-level controller, this ability is still there. Then, Yi Tian headed to the direction of Jihei according to the connection between this real body and the main body. Constantly shuttling, Yi Tian finally returned to the 3rd realm river after spending a long time. Certainly, he can also choose to destroy this real body, but now condensing a real body, the price is not low, so he will not do so. After returning, Yi Tian returned to the heavenly blessed land, which was suspected of Haitsu, to comprehend the statue of Wanxiang. This time, Yi Tian found that the effect of comprehending the statue of Wanxiang was much better, and the speed of comprehension was faster than before. It should be that after my will has risen to the peak of the 9th order, it is easier to understand the changes in Tao. Yi Tian secretly said. In the following years, Yi Tian continued to comprehend the changes in the way of defense, the changes in the way of fire, and the changes in the way of thunder, and strive to master these changes in the 10 million kinds of changes. At that time, he can perfect his own origin control skills, and make these origin control skills more powerful, which will also help to improve his own strength. Unconsciously, the 3 million years of the world river have passed. At this time, Yi Tian had mastered more than 10 million changes in the way of defense, the way of fire and the way of thunder, and the accumulation was enough, so he began to perfect the flame explosion, air shock, TNU body and thunder body 9 flashes these origin control skills. After another long time, the power of these origin control techniques has finally increased a lot, reaching the level of a powerful origin control technique. However, Yi Tian's strength still did not reach the battle strength of a 6th realm level controller, and it seemed that he still lacked a transformation point. Unless I raise the body of control from the 8th level to the peak of the 8th level, or create a source control technique that is very close to the top source control technique. Yi Tian thought to himself. And if you want to create such a source control technique, you must master at least tens of millions of changes of one Tao. This is still a huge difficulty for him, but at least there is hope. This day, Yi Tian gathered another key in Tuta and exchanged for a water boundary river monument. Of course, Yi Tian is now redeeming the Jihei monuments no longer for himself, but for the Terran. He has placed all his Jihei monuments in the Terran territory in the void area, and let the geniuses of the Terran learn to cultivate and improve the strength of the Terran. In the years that followed, Yi Tian continued to comprehend, and didn't care much about many things. His only goal now is to master the 50 million changes in the way of space. As for how many years it will take, he does not know. If 10 million years cannot be achieved, that is 50 million years, if 50 million years cannot be achieved, that is 1 million years. One day, he will be able to comprehend 50 million changes in the way of space, and then he will be able to create a source control technique that is second only to the top source control techniques. Long years have passed, and before you know it, Yi Tian has comprehended the Statue of Enlightenment for 60 million years. It can be said that Yi Tian's longest period of self-cultivation retreat for such a long period of time. And on this day, Yi Tian finally mastered the changes of the way of space to 50 million kinds. The 50 million kinds of changes in the way of space, Yi Tian did not dare to imagine before. If there is no Wanxiang statue, Yi Tian could not have mastered the 50 million kinds of changes in the way of space so quickly. Almost, we can create a more powerful source control technique. Yi Tian muttered. In the years that followed, he devoted all his strength to creating an incomparably terrifying source control technique, and this step took him more than 1 million years. And this day, he finally succeeded. In a cultivation time and space in the heavenly paradise, Yi Tian practiced the origin control skills he created here. I saw Yi Tian lightly clicked, and the time and space along the way were shattered and annihilated one after another. It was a complete annihilation, the kind that was almost difficult to recover, and a single blow penetrated through hundreds of millions of time and space, and the power was terrifying to the extreme. It's much, much lower than the air shock. After Yi Tian created this move, he knew that his strength had broken the shackles and reached the level of a 6-realm level controller. This strength looks at the entire source realm C, and it also belongs to high-level combat power. This move is called fragmentation. Yi Tian named it.